Hi, hello, everybody. Welcome directly. It was fanatixfour podcast. Who's fanatixfour? You might ask if you never saw this show. It's me, AJ, and also Parker, the other guy on the other side. That rhymes.
True.
Housekeeping. To keep this boat afloat, this houseboat, you could support the channel by going to youtube.com/fanatixfour or twitch.tv/fanatixfour and paying $4.99 in exchange for, like I said, helping the channel, but also loyalty badges, free emotes. Well, not free emotes because, you subscribe for those.
Right.
Switch keys from time to time, access to our supporters only Discord, where it's a party. Discord sometimes just flips the switch and changes the rules and people get locked out for a day or something like that. It was really weird.
Wait, what happened? I wasn't paying attention.
People couldn't access the supporters only Discord just disappeared. And it was because they deleted the role for supporters that used to be just a blanket. Like if you subscribe on Twitch or if you are a member on YouTube, you get access to the channel.
I didn't know it was integrated like that. I thought we had to do something. That's cool that it's like
we did.
Okay.
But how it was set up had everything combined. But then they split not only Twitch and YouTube, but Twitch into like 4 different segments of like, you're a weird Twitch subscriber, you're a Twitch subscriber for 2 months, you're a Twitch subscriber for 3 months, and so on and so forth. So I didn't know that. So everybody that didn't have one of those roles like assigned to the supporters thing couldn't get access to it. And it was just dumb, but it's fixed now. You can access the Discord in general, regardless if you're a Twitch subscriber, though, by clicking the link in the description. And then you can say yo, yo, yo to Duncan, and he'll probably say it back.
It's true. There it is. Good job. I'm proud of you. You did it. Man, how you been?
I've been good, man. I've been good. Just minning it up.
I've done none of the sort. Mitch, we almost pulled it out. I did hang out IRL with humans yesterday.
Oh, shoot.
And yeah,
Sounds
I know.
precarious.
It's crazy. I mean, 2 humans who Mitch's girlfriend specifically is just as like coronavirus careful as my wife is. So, that turned out well. So we're like, hey, we can hang out with each other without being too freaked out because we're already all freaked out anyway. So, or whatever.
It's true.
But yeah, he was like, I bought Min, so we could try that out at some point. I was like, cool. But then we didn't. We ended up playing some other stuff instead. But are you playing any games?
I mean, other than Smash Brothers, no. Not right now. I still want to play Ninjala, but Min came out and nuked that. Like I said, I only played a little bit of Burnout Paradise. I want to play more of that eventually. But trying to get good with Min. I already got her in Elite Smash, so like that's neat, but it's not enough. I still don't feel comfortable.
Yeah. Have you figured out there's any matchups that are like bad ones for her so far?
Yes. And like I talked about in the video, she like evens out Pokemon Trainer. Like there's matchups that she's bad with that I'm fine with Pokemon Trainer. Like they're not really matchups.
And vice versa.
Even ones that I'm like, oh, this is doable, but I hate it. Like Pikachu or whatever, right? Like Pikachu's a matchup that I feel fine with, but with Pokemon Trainer. But Min sucks. It sucks against Pikachu and Min. But the matchups for Pokemon Trainer that I don't like with Min are very easy. Like Rob, very easy with Min.
That's awesome. Do you want to wait and talk more about her later?
Yeah, we'll talk more.
Okay.
We can do that. What are you playing though?
Man, not a ton. Other than the stuff that I talked about in my video. So I played, but a bunch of demos. And that was fun. One of those specifically, Moving Out. I played again after the demo. With Ashley, and so she got to try it, and then also Mitch and Catherine, they had played it, so I talked to them about it a little bit. And so that's one that if you didn't watch the video and you have other people you'd like to play games with, didn't you say you guys played that at some point, like you and Bob? Or
no, we were going to play Moving Out, but the timing of the release didn't line up with why we wanted to play it.
Gotcha.
Because it was like around when Bob was moving, so it was me.
Ironic, yeah.
But it didn't come out.
Yeah. I feel like somebody on here was talking about it because I heard, or maybe it's just another like NVC or something. Maybe one of them were talking about it. I heard them talking about it. But in any case, yeah, it's fun. And then a tiny bit more Xenoblade, but not a whole lot of stuff this week. It's been busy, but it's the weekend now, and it's a holiday weekend. So look at that. Free time,
It's true. It's true.
Get some of that in there. But yeah, I'll talk more about those games a little bit when we get to our videos. But you know what? Since that's about it for us, let's go ahead and get in the news.
You would think we would play more video games.
Yeah, you would think so. But the time that I would be playing video games, I'm making videos and podcast stuff instead.
It's
so
true. It's true.
Yeah. It doesn't really work out the way you anticipate in that regard. But that said, is Nintendo ending Nintendo Directs?
You know what? I wasn't paying a whole lot, like enough attention to this to like respond to it in my normal way, where I'd be like, you don't say, and then post a video why I called this. But I'll say it here. You don't say.
Yeah. So here we'll get into the actual like quotes and stuff, and it's not as like cut and dry as Nintendo's canceling Directs or anything like that. There's actually also a direct rumor, but I don't give any.
There's always a direct.
Exactly. Rumor. There's always a direct rumor, and then also there's certain people that at this point, like I'm like, I trust those ones that they're probably accurate. Like this, all the Mario remaster stuff. There's enough evidence that it's like if that doesn't happen, I would actually be surprised. But this isn't one of those things. So, but here's the actual news on the Direct, and then we'll kind of speculate on it. But it was Furukawa at their shareholders meeting said some stuff. And there's other quotes from this, but we pulled two kind of important ones as topics, but the rest are fairly general Q&A things. Furukawa said, in the annual shareholders meetings, we routinely show a video of E3, which was usually held just before the meeting. But this year, none of the large industry events are being held because of COVID-19, not just E3. And Nintendo also had no plans for any such event. We intend to use other methods flexibly in order to deliver the latest information on our product, so please stay tuned. We have continuously released information, including the announcement of a new fighter for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for Nintendo Switch, and the announcement by the Pokemon Company of new Pokemon-related titles. We think the Nintendo Direct format is very effective for us to directly and clearly convey information about games to consumers. On the other hand, as the times change, the most effective ways of conveying information can also change. So I think we should always be looking for the best ways of communicating. Yeah, so that's what he said.
Makes sense. I also just think that, I mean, they kind of outgrew them in a way. Also, the fact that like everybody else is jumping on the train, like you gotta imagine Nintendo's like, but that's the thing that made us us. Yeah. Now we gotta do something else that makes us us now. So like, it's just like a perfect storm of it not happening, and I don't know what he like. What's the other effective way? Like they're just breaking them up. They're just trailers now. It's like, hey, here's a tweet, which I think is more effective in the long run, especially now.
Yeah, for individual properties especially.
Yeah, and because directs are like, like they're like this concerted effort from all these different publishers and studios and stuff like that. You got to be like, all right, you're sure that this is your date or whatever. Like this is the information that you want, that sort of stuff, right? Whereas now they can be like, okay, we only have to talk about the things that we're 100% certain are going to be released, because if we don't know that, and this time there's no real reason to even talk about it. And on top of that, there's no real reason to like, have the hype cycle for an announcement, because it's not like most people need to set their time aside to get home to watch it, like you're home anyway. Yeah. So
no, I think my speculation is that probably like this year we'll keep seeing what we did with Paper Mario for most of the time, and I bet we'll have a direct still, because like I don't think they're fully ready to call it quits yet. I mean, I don't know, they very well could be. But the thing that Nintendo Directs have an advantage of over the individual titles and stuff like that is the ability to promote things that are further away. Because like if with just dropping trailers, like for Paper Mario, they did that within 2 months, but I don't think that's always going to be the case. Like they're not always going to want to put something out so close to release. Usually it is, but like the Breath of the Wilds and those kinds of things that they want you to be anticipating for a long time, I think there's still the benefit of being able to couch it within other things, because they're like, I know this one's going to be forever away. Like them just dropping just an announcement for Breath of the Wild sequel or whatever on Twitter, the way that they did for Paper Mario, would be kind of weird. Just like to just drop it and be like, this is coming out sometime. Here's a trailer.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, especially if the wording is that like as times change, like their methods change. I don't think it's necessary to have these long. In fact, I think having long hype cycles actively hurt games more than they help them. Like, and that goes from the bottom of the barrel, like the games that don't really garner hype, no matter how long you do it, to the games that are the most hype. And that, I mean, that's been shown in a lot of different industries where like a movie gets shadow dropped on freaking Disney Plus or whatever, or a new album or like people get really excited and they all rush to buy the thing just as much as they would if they knew it was coming out for 2 years.
I think,
but I know when like, even when it is stuff like Breath of the Wild, it just gets to a point where that's just a part of the direct or presentation or whatever. That's a waste of time, because it's like, okay, I know this exists. I don't care to see it anymore. If anything, it actively hurts my excitement for the game. Just let me have it. I don't need to see it 30 times.
I think there's within the context of like long announcements or long, what was the phrase you just used? Whatever, long hype cycles. Yes, thank you. With long hype cycles and stuff, I mean, you're definitely right, especially for mediocre games, definitely hurts. Daemon X Machina was announced like over a year before it came out. And then by the time it came out, not a lot of people cared. And I think that's the case a lot of times. I think the thing that a long hype cycle does help is to have maybe a couple of them, but they actually, I think, help sell the console more than they necessarily even do those specific games.
That's true. Yeah,
because there's something about like knowing what to look forward to, that kind of thing, you know? So, I mean, that said, there's still, I'm sure, people that are like, I want Metroid Prime 4, but I'm going to wait until it comes out. They're not going to just buy it. But that said, if there's another trailer that they're like, Metroid Prime 4 in 9 months or something like that, here's this trailer for it, there could still be people
also,
that
now that I think about it, I don't even know if that's just like, you know, spreading out the people that were going to buy it anyway. Like,
yeah, right.
For all intents and purposes, even though for us, Animal Crossing had a pretty long like hype cycle where we didn't even know it was New Horizons. It was just like the new Animal Crossing game. You don't see it. It's going to take you like 9 months or whatever.
But everybody that bought it just bought it.
The general public didn't know there was most people that bought Animal Crossing during this whole situation they didn't know Animal Crossing existed, you know, like, and they bought it because of the hype surrounding it and all that other stuff. So I don't even know if that's necessary. Maybe for things that are like long established, like not even stuff like Zelda, but more so like the Mario Karts stuff that like the general public knows is a thing, and they're like, hey, the new thing that's always been a thing for you is coming out, buy the console. But I don't know if that
even then, I think you're right though, that like general public wise, you know, if I was like, yeah, Mario Kart 9's coming out or something like that, even friends of mine that like, my friends Chris and Stephanie, whose kid is super into Mario and all that stuff now, I think if they just wouldn't be aware of that. They just wouldn't know it unless I specifically told them. So I think, it would help the people, it would help the use case of people that are like, I think I want to get a Switch, but I don't know. Yeah, at this point, it's
like
less
in the
helpful
early days, when there are pretty much no games, and it's just Breath of the Wild and like a few smaller, like, you know, like AA games from third-party publishers and indie stuff, them saying like a new Smash Brothers coming out and a new Splatoon, and you know, like them doing that whole thing, I think that helps it. But now I don't know if it helps it anymore, that if they just drop something 3 months later. I think that in the future, them doing it, I'm sure they'll do it, but it'll be less so because it's necessary and more so because it's just the status quo and that's what they're used to doing. And if they didn't do it, what would happen? We don't know, you know? So like just that unknown is enough for them to like maintain and keep doing it.
I do kind of expect that in fairly standard Nintendo fashion, like I said, they're not done with Nintendo Directs completely, but if their mind is moving to something else, they'll kind of do two different things at the same time, and then lean into whichever one, you know, obviously works out the best. Cause I mean, that's the same way they were like, yeah, we're not done with 3DS for like friggin' forever. And then they're like, all right, we're done with 3DS now. Even though they still haven't technically said it. But I think similarly, and I don't know. I mean, I guess that is just the random drops at a random time thing, like they did with Paper Mario.
Right.
But I do wonder if there's something even more creative or different or new, because that's not super original. That's just straightforward. That's, you know, but if it's more effective, then that'll do it.
Right.
I don't know. So I expect at least, I do expect that there will be a Nintendo Direct this year. But I don't think it's coming in July, or it's a small one and it's just the Mario remaster related stuff. Like it's just 35th anniversary Mario things. What do you think?
I could see them, and this isn't saying that like they're definitely doing this or where. The thing that I could see Nintendo Directs as is if they're like freaking like state of the platform sort of things, where it's like at the beginning where everybody thinks quote unquote January Directs are, right? If they legitimately do that and they're like, all right, here's our
I was going to say the exact same
for
thing
this year, and then just that. It's not like, all right, it's been 2 months. I mean, where's the next one? It's once per year, maybe twice. I could see them doing that, and then every other announcement is a random shadow drop trailer or whatever. Yeah,
because I do think it's important to always this whole like 2020 thing of like we knew about Xenoblade, and then that was going to be the last thing for them this year, and pretty much, and then right before that came out, they told us about Paper Mario, and now Paper Mario is going to be out soon, and I do figure like probably even next week we'll find out about the next thing. I don't know, don't get your hopes up, anybody, or whatever, but like I wouldn't be surprised if next week we'd find out about the next thing or whatever. But I think it's important to have kind of blanket expectations in a usual year as well, just for most people, just to feel excited about the future outside. Because like so many people are pessimistic.
I wouldn't necessarily say most people. I would say the most like engaged people, which is by no means the majority of the like the user base of the platform, right? Like we're very much so in the minority. Like I mean, like we talked about, where it's like most people don't even know that games are coming out way before they come out. Like my brother, I was like, yo, you know, the Pokemon DLC came out. He's like, what? He's like, there's Pokemon DLC? I was like, yeah. And he's he's a gamer. He has multiple like consoles that are current gen and stuff like that. And he's not even in tune enough to be like, he's never seen a Nintendo Direct in his life, you know, or State of Play or Inside Xbox or whatever, right? So I think that's where most of the populace lies in that regard. So I don't even know if that's necessary. It's more so for the pundits to be like, oh, Nintendo's not, because I think most people that buy platforms are kind of where I'm at now, where it's like, I got Smash Brothers, dude. I don't care. Other stuff can come out and that's great, but I got the game that I'm going to play anyway. So like,
most people buying the platform aren't the people that are like and listening to this podcast and stuff like that. Like we're definitely anomalies in that. I mean, the way that you said, you know, with Smash Brothers and stuff like that, that's less the case. But
they just get to a point where they're content with what they have, even if it's not just one game. It could be a few games.
Yeah, the devil's advocate I'd make for like having things out in the future or whatever is for the, I don't know. I keep going back to Chris and Stephanie, my friends, because they don't have a Switch, but at this point they're playing games on their Wii and my NES Classic and SNES Classic a bunch. But I'd mentioned to Chris, like, yeah, there's a rumor that they're going to do 3D Mario remasters of, you know, 64 Sunshine or whatever. And he was like, that's pretty exciting because, you know, he would love to play those games and show them to his kid, but like also pulling out the N64 ball, you know, it's like not as great as it could be. So having those kinds of things be on the horizon so people can start to be aware of them, because there's something to be said for like, I mean, I don't know, the FOMO kind of thing where you kind of want people to know that something's coming out so that they can be hyped about it during the time that it's hyped. Because if you find out like, oh yeah, last year on the Switch, they had a 3D remaster thing, you'd be like, oh, that's awesome. But it is a little less exciting to be like, last year, all these people did this thing. I mean, I don't know, maybe not, but like,
yeah, I don't think, I definitely think that like having a runway into the thing is important. I just don't think a year out, 6 months out is like imperative. I think that like a game like, you know, like Fallout 4, like they even that they announced that game like 2, 3, 4 months away from when it came out, and what 15 million plus, you know, like so I just don't think that like we need that whole like year plus thing.
Yeah, oh definitely. Yeah, I wouldn't say a year plus, and I'd say only for pretty specific titles anyway. So I don't know. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. When do you, I mean, people, I think there's some Q&As about this, so I don't know, we'll hold this topic up to, I said words wrong. We'll hold off finishing up this topic because I think some Q&As are going to address this anyway, but we'll move on to something else that Nintendo talked about. This is the other thing we pulled from their Q&A and all that was, go away. Okay, hang on. It's the article is trying to get me to do stuff because I have an ad blocker on. So Nintendo talked about Joy-Con, and the Joy-Con drift specifically. And here we go. Here's what they said about it. So Furukawa pretty much said, regarding the Joy-Con, we apologize for any trouble caused to our consumers. And then said, we're continuing to aim to improve our products, but as the Joy-Con is the subject of a class action lawsuit in the United States, and this is still a pending issue, we would like to refrain from responding about any specific actions. So we had to talk about this because we talked about Joy-Con a lot, and we're not going to talk about it too long because also there's not a lot to talk about.
It's true.
For being honest.
It's true.
Yeah. I mean, I've got to. Yeah,
I wonder if this means that like they're planning to do something, or they're only going to do something if they're forced to. Because like that's what this kind of sounds like. They're only going to like. It sounds like they're going to do something in response to it if they're forced to. Because like if they were just going to do it and like release an updated Joy-Con or whatever the case may be, they would just do that. Like there's no reason to not.
Oh yeah, I think you're totally right. If they were going to do that, they would just do it. It might be that date is still in the future, that they're still R&Ding it or whatever and trying to get ones that don't drift and break and stuff like that. But I mean, it definitely seems like they can't say that they're going to do it until they've done it, because maybe that would admit fault, and then they, you know, that would be worse looking on their class action lawsuit and stuff like that. But
they're kind of already admitting fault here.
Well, kind of, but they also say, we apologize if any, I mean, it's like the classic non-apology apology.
Yeah,
like, I'm sorry if what I said, like, offended
I'm
you.
sorry that what I said made you angry.
Yeah, because you get angry about stuff.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you get angry at that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's sort of a non-apology. It is still good that I decided today, I was like, I'm going to send in some of my Joy-Cons that are having drift, because like, I just haven't, because I've been lazy. But if they're going to fix it for free, might as well take advantage of that.
It's true. Everybody sends your Joy-Con to Nintendo of America.
Everybody send your Joy-Con to me, and I'll just
and you'll send
make a pot. Yeah, sure, why
not?
So I'll let you guys know once I do that. I'll let y'all know.
I'll let you know once I send all of your Joy-Con to Nintendo of America.
I don't know. We talked about Joy-Con Pro or whatever back in the day. I wouldn't be surprised if they at some point do those, and maybe that is the solution, in which case that would be a bit slimy feeling.
Like, I was about to say, maybe that's why they don't want to talk about it, because like I feel like that sort of thing, which I mean, class action lawsuits, like the with the general populace gets in return for, even if, you know, like they win the lawsuit, it's not much, you know. So it's not like, okay, you're owed a Joy-Con Pro, you know, or like a set of those. It's like, here's $12, you know. So I don't know, man.
That
Like,
said, if they do a Joy-Con Pro, it would be hard to imagine that. I mean, this is the whole like Switch Lite, Switch Pro, that kind of conversation too, where like the Joy-Con fit into so many like peripheral things and whatever that it would be a little bit hard to imagine they only do a Joy-Con Pro and not a revised original Joy-Con as well.
yeah.
So I feel like our legitimate options are they do absolutely nothing, which is so far been the case, but they're fixing stuff, even though it's, that sucks. Either they do absolutely nothing or they do a revision, which could include a Joy-Con Pro, but I don't think would be exclusively a Joy-Con Pro. Cause like,
so would you be mad if they did that? Like if they just straight up were like, here's a Joy-Con Pro?
For me, no, I wouldn't be mad on my behalf. But I'd understand if other people are mad for themselves.
So for me, I definitely would be mad because like then I would just have extra controllers because I don't use my Joy-Con to play most games anyway. And having Joy-Con Pro would make me be like, okay, yeah, I could probably play Smash Brothers with these, but like regular Joy-Cons, I don't want to do that anyway. So like I only use my Joy-Con when I play stuff like Mario Kart or Mario Party or freaking Splatoon sometimes, stuff like that, where I'm not using the analog sticks as heavily.
I do wonder, here's my idea for if they do a Joy-Con Pro. I mean, you talked about it in the video that you made. That was good. And maybe you even gave the suggestion, but I don't remember. But first of all, I think we all agree some kind of handles would be nice if they could do that.
I didn't mention that, but
okay. Sure. Well, there you go, y'all. But something like that. But then also, how originally, like in the patents back in the day, the Joy-Cons were supposed to be magnets that clip onto the side instead of sliding down, but they do if they still do the rails, but then also have magnets in them that clip to each other so that like, that would be cool. So you don't put them into a grip. You just, exactly. Just click them together and do that. That would be cool.
I wonder if that would, I wonder if the reason why they didn't do it is because it messes with like the bands in it.
I wonder too. The other thing, I think it's because it wasn't sturdy enough. Like it had the option to fall off. Whereas right now the Joy-Con if you drop your Switch, it's most likely to fall on the Joy-Con, and that's like protecting the screen and stuff like that a little bit. So I know,
but not the Joy-Con.
Nope, doesn't protect the Joy-Con at all.
I remember the first pair of Joy-Con that I had that one of the analog sticks just broke off because it fell. I was like, oof.
Oh no.
I was like, it was the right Joy-Con. The freaking analog stick just fell clean off. I was like, oh my God.
That sucks. I do wonder with one of mine, because again, if I send them all in, we have 4 sets total, and 2 of the sets, both of the left and right side, have drift. But one of them was one that I tried to replace, and I wasn't able to because the piece that I bought, the ribbon cable, like I couldn't get it to actually clip in. It would just like keep falling out. I don't know what I was doing wrong, but I'm bad at that stuff apparently. So, but in any case, like I kind of messed up the actual stick a little bit, like the top of it. I had to pull off for it to come out. So now it's like all, I don't know, weird. But I wonder if they're going to be mad about that and not fix it. I don't know. But speaking of fixing things, Paper Mario developers said they wanted to fix the way. Okay, they didn't actually say that.
Abort.
They said words though. Let me tell you what.
They surely did.
But yeah, so it's Paper Mario, the Origami King. Dev wants to offer fans new experiences and surprises instead of relying on previous gameplay systems. Let's get into it.
LOL.
Here's 2 quotes from Kensuke Tanabe, who said, when continuing a game series, it's much easier to carry over the basics from an existing game system rather than building new systems for each new installment. But that's not how you create new experiences or unexpected surprises. As a game designer, I want to deliver new experiences and surprises to our fans, so I always challenge myself to create something new. To be sure, I will sometimes use the same system in a subsequent game to further develop that system until I feel it has reached its full potential, but my goal is to continue to tackle new challenges as much as possible. And then he continued by saying, we never considered whether or not we should implement a party-based system like some Mario along the way. In other words, we first determine what elements are needed in a game and then figure out how to implement a program then. Bobby the Bob-omb was the first character we decided to include, and from there, we chose the characters that would be the best fit for the events in each stage of the game. Bowser Jr. was an exception. The director, Mr. Masahiko Nagaya, personally had strong feelings about including a storyline where a son sets out to save his father. So in this case, we decided to include the character before deciding exactly what we would have him do. The end. Also, somewhere it talks about a like kind of open world, but that wasn't in that quote, so I guess not.
It didn't happen. You dreamed it.
Must have.
Dreamed it. I think that this is going to make people very mad.
Why is that?
Because they don't want them to want to do new things. Ironically, with this series specifically,
they want them to do old things. Not even
they want them to
things.
do the oldest of things and continue to just do the old thing, but different.
I do wonder. If because I mean, this is still definitely better to those people, I would imagine, than
because it's closer continuing to the old thing.
Right. It's innovating and stuff, but I mean that's true. Like, I guess when a Mario Party innovated by adding a car, innovation for the sake of innovation doesn't make it better. So like people were mad about that.
And I don't even know if for them it's innovation for the sake of innovation, especially how he's talking about it. It sounds like they were bored and they're like, all right, we freaking maxed out the Paper Mario formula, let's do something different. And then they did something different, people didn't like it, and they're like, all right, let's do something different from that. And then like rinse and repeat and continue to do that. So I mean, hey man, it seems like a freaking like Sakurai putting Fire Emblem characters in Smash because he likes Fire Emblem sort of deal. It's like, well, you guys might not like it, but we're bored. So we want to do new stuff.
I'm very curious to see how just people in general, like I am almost positive that I'm gonna like Paper Mario Origami King a whole lot. Like so far from everything I've seen, I'm like, that looks dope. But also I haven't played the original 2 games. So I am curious how, those people are gonna feel about that. Who
I'm just not really like that.
Right.
With series where it's like I want it to stay the same all the time, but prettier. I'm like, nah, man, nuke the whole thing, dude. As long as it's like, the same theming and like the core of it is intact, the gameplay can change.
I don't know. You always say you want Pokemon to be exactly the same. Any change at all. So
it's true. That is a thing that I say.
No, it's funny. I was talking to Mitch about like when it first got revealed, I was talking to him about it, and he mentioned his friend that I brought up a couple of times before, who was notoriously the one who was mad that Waluigi.
Man, his game's going to be bad.
He was mad that Waluigi wasn't in the game. He was super mad about Byleth, whatever all the other like.
In fairness, Byleth trash. So
I mean, but like.
Fine. I don't care that she's a Fire Emblem character. Right. She's just not good.
So that's, that whole thing. But it was, and so of course he was very, very mad about Paper Mario and it looking like blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, it's so funny to me that Mitch is over
he's
here
just
in the
an
middle
internet person that is alive and of him personally.
Yeah. He's just like the exact things that usually, everybody,
it's like you're a random YouTube commenter. That's where they live. They're you.
Although this is completely aside, one of my kids from when I was a youth group leader a couple of years ago, so he's in like college now, he's a sophomore or something, but he was saying his younger brother saw me on some random YouTube video online. I was like, I'm pretty sure, he was like, yeah, last week he was watching some YouTube video and you were in there, and I'm pretty sure it was the last video of Bob's that I was in or whatever for a second. And I was like, that's really funny just to know humans in my life who stumbled upon things that we're in. That's all.
It happens to me pretty often. And
Does
it's equal. It's equal. Like people see fanatixfour videos and Wolf Den videos that I'm in.
Nice.
The first one that somebody mentioned though was a Wolf Den video. They're like, yo, and it was an old Wolf Den video. Like it was like before they like blew up. It was, it was like one of their first videos to do really well. I thought was funny. Where it was like their best performing video for a long time.
Yeah.
I was like, that's neat. It was an NX video. But
we love the NX video. It is, YouTube's weird how it still recommends stuff from like forever ago.
Yeah.
And then doesn't, it's like, you made a video last week that some people seem to like, but we're probably not going to do anything with that. But then
it seems like just
ago.
in general, our videos perform well in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, at first they're like, all right, here's the average that you usually get. And then 2 months later, like, here's way more people. Watch it now.
Yep. What a time. And speaking of time, today is July 3rd when we're recording. And the Animal Crossing update came out. I haven't played it at all though, so I'll probably check it out tonight. Today so far, I'll probably try to check it out tonight. So far, we just woke up this morning, watched Hamilton, and then had to go drive down to see Ashley's parents to pick up something. So we'll probably try it out later. But yeah, Hamilton is a thing. It's real good. I mean, Ashley's loved it for forever, and so I've been aware of it. And it's funny because between the two of us, I'm the one who did a bunch of theater in high school and some in college, and I don't specifically care about it too much. It's just fun to like be a part of things and do things with people and to be on stage and whatever. But as far as actually watching theater, I don't care all that much about it. But I also like play a lot and write a lot of music and stuff, but I don't care that much about concerts either, which I always feels a little blasphemous, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I'm the same way. I don't like, I think making things messes up consuming things.
It does. Yeah.
So it's like
yeah. Especially with concerts for me, like the problem is I'll just end up and it's why nobody likes playing shows in Nashville, because like that's so many people will just be there picking apart every single thing you do, even if it's not in a negative way, not like you're doing this wrong, but like I'll be
just like, there, I get how you did the good thing you did.
Exactly. Like, right. So yeah. But that said, if you're a band having a show in Nashville and you have like a singing section where it's like, and now everybody's going to sing together, that usually goes pretty well because everybody here is a wannabe musician. What a time. So, but Animal Crossing, I didn't play it at all. We'll let y'all know next week. But it happened.
I'll play it eventually, possibly. Randomly, I'll turn the game on. My turn prices will be $15,000, and I'll let
likely
2 people in.
Yep. Not it is funny seeing that, like just kind of seeing the community and how it's sort of died down or whatever in general. I saw some tweet that someone was like, "Yeah, my turnips are 600 bells or something like that. Like anybody come on down," and it had 45 retweets and some likes and stuff like that. Whereas 100%, if it had been March or April and they put that tweet out, it would be like
52,000 retweets, 300,000 likes,
and the person would delete their Twitter. Regret it. So, but yeah, that's that update. The other update from this week is that Min Min is now in Smash.
It's true, indeed, she is.
Let's talk
and
about
I
it.
knew.
You did.
I knew, because every time Sakurai shows a character, I look at the video and I'm like, this character is going to suck, or this character is going to be great. And I was right. Min Min's dumb. Min Min has some jank, dude. Like, I posted a video like at 2 a.m. yesterday or today, of like just a sampling of some of the jank where I'm like, oh, you're trying to come back to the stage? I'm on the other side of the stage. Nah, you don't get to come back to the stage.
Is that with like the dragon fist?
Yeah. And then like there's moves that she has that are not good, but still can like kill people like that. Like her down air sucks. Like her down air, if you use that, you're probably gonna die. Like they'll probably also die, but you're probably also going to die too. So it's like that's like the move that you do if it's like you're so bad that I don't even care that I'm going to die after this. Like,
what is her down air? Like, what does it do?
It's like a she just does like a drop kick.
Oh, gotcha. Nice. And then you just can't recover after it or anything.
Yeah, you're just like, because some down airs that are like that, like they kind of like bounce off. So that they're given the opportunity of like, okay, I can jump back up and up B, but she just keeps going down. And there's a period where she can like, she gains control again and she can like jump in an up B, but you have to be really high in the air before you initiate the down air for that to happen. More often than not, if you're calling somebody out, you don't got the time to like, or the wherewithal to be like, okay, let me space it from way up in the sky. Like, nah, they're right here. I want to be right here. So I'm running.
Well, and also, what's the chances that you're way up in the air and, well, I guess, do you gain back your up B after connecting with that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then
Well,
never
well,
mind.
if you're up in the air, I mean, you don't have to use your up B to get up it. You just double
Yeah, right.
jump and then you
Uh-huh.
down air and then you up B and then you're good. Or
Yeah.
just do a regular jump and then down air and then do your up B. And also, like, what you could do is you could do her her grounded up B, because she has two of them. Which propels you up in the sky, and then after you do that, you can use the tether, and you can use the tether more than once.
Oh,
So like
that's
you
true.
can like charge up the grounded up B to go really high, and then like freaking do the down air, and then jump, and then up B to come back. But it's just doing too much. It's going to be harder to like line
Yeah.
it up if versus just running off and pressing down air and killing them. Like,
Yeah.
but that's how I was like, okay. So I had a whole bunch of clips, and I usually don't feel like doing all that. Like I have a lot of clips that for Pokemon Trainer that are very hilarious and disrespectful, but like I don't have the time to to convert all of them and then edit it together. But it just so happened that I only saved the disrespectful clips of Min Min. So it was like easy to like convert them and then edit it together for that short little thing and then just put it up.
I like it. I'll have to watch it.
Uh,
Nice. Well, so you got good with Min Min, and then you made a video about it. Let's read some of these comments from your video about how you got good. Casper3237, hello Casper, says, I would like to get good at Cloud and Mega Man, but when I used to play Melee as a Kirby, Bowser, and DK, mainly to grab others by ledges and suicide immediate laughter. Okay, yeah, that was the end of that sentence. I heard you wrecked Bob with Min Min. Good job. Expected, but good job nonetheless.
I did. He did. He won one set, so he did 3 sets, 2 out of 3s.
He got a buff, right? With Captain Falcon.
Yeah, Captain Falcon got a buff. Bob
significant or not?
Yeah, pretty. I mean, yeah. He's not like as good as he was in Smash 4. He was broken in Smash 4.
Really?
But he's better than he used to be in Ultimate. I don't think it's going to make Bob much better because a lot of moves that got buffed, Bob doesn't really use anyway. Yeah. So it was like,
what? Yeah, as far as like the disparity between the worst and best characters in Smash games, do you feel like Ultimate has the like smallest gap at this point?
Yeah,
because they're
okay. It's definitely the most balanced Smash game because like there's Melee where there's 26 characters and 12 of them are decent. You know, like that sort of thing. 12 of them are decent. 8 of them are good. You know, like and that, like those two things overlap. You know, like if you're good, then you're obviously
right.
good.
Yeah, exactly.
But Ultimate, it's like 40 of them are decent, and then like 25 of them are good.
Nice. At least, yeah, that leaves a lot of room.
And then,
for
like the ones that aren't decent
variety.
Can at least get some cheese and win. You know, like Little Mac's not great, but like if you're playing against somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, you'll probably win, even if you're like average.
Yeah, because like if you don't keep a good air game, then he'll win. I guess on the ground.
You'll just get bopped. You'll just get bopped.
Yep. Well, nice. Cool said, I knew I was a Link main before I even played Smash. Great video. One way I think you should have mentioned is putting yourself in uncomfortable positions. I suck at playing off stage until I force myself to always jump after my opponents. Unless I'm playing a Little Mac, I'm not insane. Till I got super comfortable off stage. It made winning way easier for me. Playing aggressive has also helped me chain combos, zoning while approaching, and taught me how to keep up pressure.
There was a lot of stuff like that because I mean, for this video, I did what I usually do, and I wrote the script. But then I also was like, okay, but there's like a lot of thoughts that I have that pertain to like the things that I scripted that I want to like add to. So like all of it ended up being like 45 minutes. And I was like, I'm not editing. First of all, I'm not editing a 45-minute video, and I'm not releasing a 45-minute video. So like a lot of that stuff that's like character specific and like, you know, stuff like that where it's like, a Smash Bros specific channel would cover that in more detail because like they make dedicated videos to just one thing where it's like, here's how you edge guard, that sort of stuff. I was just going to leave it up to them to like, okay, here's the resources that you can go to for those super specific things. But I wanted to like make sure that I gave a blanket thing of like mostly learning how to learn, not so much teaching you like how to play Min, you know. That was really my goal with the video. But yeah, there's definitely stuff like that where getting like being put in uncomfortable positions helps you get better. But that's kind of part of why I said pick a main and stick with it, because that'll inherently put you in uncomfortable situations, because there's no character and other than Pikachu that doesn't get, and that can avoid uncomfortable situations regardless of what they do, right? You'll be forced to learn around that eventually.
True. And that's what it is. And speaking of uncomfortable positions, N said this video is all over the place and hardly useful. LMAO.
I disagree. And also it was funny because like I responded to his comment. I was like, what? Like that's not what the response to this video has been. You know, like if it's hardly useful, then everybody in the comments would be like, this video is useless, and it would have way more dislikes than likes, you know, as one dislike. That doesn't happen.
Well, I think we found the dislike for what it's worth.
Yeah, exactly.
The irony of this too, and hey, how's it going? Hope you're doing great. This comment was all over the place. Well, it wasn't very all over the place, but it was also hardly useful. So
yeah, that was my initial response. I was like, this comment isn't very useful. Like, what about it? First of all, what's wrong with the structure? I feel like it was very like, and I did that intentionally. I started out with like, okay, what would I tell somebody to do first? Find a character, learn how to use that character on a basic level, test that character in low like stakes situations, i.e. fighting computers, learn how to get like better by learning about advanced techniques and stuff like that, practice against actual people to use those more advanced techniques. Find a friend group that is, you know, committed as you are to continue to grow together. Iron sharpens iron, et cetera, et cetera. It's very clear structure.
if their intention also is to watch the video in hopes of finding ways to like cheese it to the top, you know, like, because in the thumbnail shows noob to elite smash, so like maybe they're like how to get into an elite smash really easily or something. If that's what they were like coming into it expecting, then like, yeah, you gave actual like, here's how to learn how to do the work to get good.
Yeah, like here's how you actually get good.
Yeah,
not
as opposed to giving the like
become a gimmick.
like the Smash Spirit challenges that were really hard that now it shows you how to do them. Like that's a very different thing where it's like, here's how to cheese it in a very specific way. Like that's if that's what someone was expecting, then yeah, it was all over the place because it was more than just this equals this and then therefore that.
And in fairness, I think a lot of people kind of think like that, like not to I mean kind of just because it's funny, but
just
not
get
to
King Dedede and knock the things off the side, you know?
Not to completely out Logan, but Logan, as some of you guys know, a lot of you guys don't, he plays Smash Brothers, and the majority of how he plays this game is he wants to get to Elite Smash. Like that's his goal. Like there's plenty of times where I'll see him online and I'm like, yo, you trying to play Smash? And he's like, nah, I'm playing Elite Smash. And I'm like, all right, I guess.
Is he trying to like get every character in there and then like leave him in there, or
just as many characters as he can? Like I don't think that that's necessarily a specific goal of his. I think he tries with certain characters, and if it's just not happening, it's just not happening. But there are characters where he's like, kind of like me and the small laser focus that I have, where it's like, I want to get the characters I'm good at in Elite Smash. But how we approach that is very different, where for me, grinding to get to Elite Smash is getting good with the character. But for him, he's like, he tries to brute force his way through it, where he's like, I'm just going to be on Elite Smash until I get enough GSP to be in, I mean, I'm just going to be on quick play until I get enough GSP to be in Elite Smash.
And then for me, don't touch that character again.
Yeah, exactly. For me, it was like, okay, I want to like practice against players that I know that are good and like, you know, learn this character and what I did in the video, you know, and then go on a quick play and then get to Elite Smash. And I think that that method is more consistent, because it took me literally half an hour to get Min into Elite Smash. It's been 3 days since then, and Logan is still trying to get into Elite Smash. So it's like, I think that you definitely gotta like learn the character instead of trying to like go into Elite Smash, because then all you're trying to do is counter the cheese that most of Elite Smash or quick play players try to do, and it's not a good way to approach learning the game or character.
But I mean, you do you. If you want to cheese stuff, I guess.
Man,
but this probably wasn't a video for you.
Against the wall for 3 days, then do that.
Comment from Jesse McCowan, who says, it's pretty amazing how a game like Smash Bros. Can be played. So many options, and it's what makes it a great game. 1v1 is fun. Free for all is fun. Items and stages and everything allowed is chaotic and fun. It's just fun. Great video, great tips.
Yeah. My only thing with those modes is like they're fun in bursts, and I think that's why
Mm-hmm.
most people that buy Smash Brothers only play Smash Brothers like a couple times a year. But
Mm-hmm.
then there's people like me that play it all the time, and
Mm-hmm.
it's because like you're not if you play freaking let me think of it. Like if you play Mario Kart all the time, right? Chances are you're not always playing battle mode. You're
Right.
like online on Mario Kart doing 200 or 150 cc. You know, like you're doing
Mm-hmm.
those type of modes because like there's a reason to continue to keep playing it because you're like being challenged and you're improving and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
When you're playing casual rules all the time, you're not really doing anything. You're just spinning the like the wheel every time you play the game.
Yeah.
And that gets boring, even if you love the game. Like I have a lot of fun playing free for all and casual matches and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't do that all the time. It's
Yeah.
like a very like once in a while, like a group of friends or family
Mm-hmm.
play the game, and then yeah, let's do that. But
Yep.
1v1 is like fun all the time for me
Mm-hmm.
because I'm competitive.
Yeah, and I think the chaotic and random element of it is discouraging when you care about it more. And like there's situations where you don't, which is great, like with friends and family, that kind of thing. You just if you lose, it's like, I mean, it's it sucks, but like I know that was because of that, smash ball or whatever. But that was because of some item or whatever. And as opposed to if that was the case all the time, like that would suck because it's like when you're trying to get better at it, it's like a Mario Party situation where you're like, I did everything literally perfectly, and then at the end they were like, pity. We're just gonna give that to the other guy.
And I think that can be true for like say a casual played the game like a more like dedicated player, right? But they only like playing those modes. They would come to that point too where eventually they're like, oh, okay, this is random and therefore annoying.
Yeah.
But like when you play it every once in a while, it's just funny. Like people wouldn't just play Mario Party, right? Like it's a fun once in a while thing.
It's true. Although, I mean, they might if it didn't have those random elements in it, you know, if it was, but then it would be competitive
Smash Brothers where it lets
game.
you, exactly. If it let you like dial it in that way.
Yeah.
I like Smash. Don't get me wrong. I like Smash for the ability to like tailor it to how you want to play the game. But I definitely think that like playing it competitively is more complete experience almost. You know, like it feels like you're doing something, whereas casual rules, the game's kind of playing itself and you're just laughing at it.
Last comment from Mega Man said AJ is toxic. Nah, top tier player. Great video and great source to keep coming back to, especially with me about to pick up a secondary and still perfecting my Mega Man. Who would have thought?
Yo, hit me up if you need min tips. I think I told him this. I think that Mega Man's going to be really good with min, or at least be able to pick up min quickly, because min has a very similar play style to Mega Man.
I can see that. I mean, they both seem like
so. Recording messed up. But I don't know if we're putting it in the recording or not. Who knows? Who knows? But if we're not going to edit around it, inside baseball.
Yeah, look at that. So all in all, Min sounds like a fun time. Keep us posted on. I don't know, whatever. If she's good or not,
I will. I'll have random Twitter videos. I'm sure.
And then otherwise, I made a video as well talking about some demos that I played. So I'm not gonna talk that much more about those because I talked about
because you made a whole video
in the video. But hopefully y'all found some. Either it was at least entertaining, or maybe some demos to check out. So pulled some comments. I mean, neither of our videos were great ones for commenting on. So thank you everybody for doing it anyway. Because they were both kind of like, here's just some things and informations, as opposed to like more opinion type things. But going back,
and even I think your video would normally, like if it was a games thing, it would be easier to comment on, because it's like, here's games that I like, but like there's not that many demos to be like, well, I like this demo, you know. Like
it's true. But yeah, going right back to Mega Man. Mega Man said, great video, Parker. Definitely keen on looking at moving out. Maybe one the wife and I could play. And
that game definitely has like Overcooked vibes for me.
Honestly, and I talked to Mitch about it too, because like I said, he played it and he was like, well, I said, I feel like it's Overcooked, but just less, it's way more fun to me because Overcooked has lots of little checkpoints. Essentially, like every order is like a little checkpoint, and then you feel bad if you missed some of the orders.
Yeah,
and it's
you
like
can like
stressful
mess up. You can like mess up Overcooked.
Yeah. Whereas with this, like with moving out, it's just there's one timer for the whole thing. So like you either get a gold, silver, or bronze medal, and like I don't know what happens if we got a bronze medal on all of them. Maybe we got a silver medal on one, but I don't know what happens if you go past that time. Like if it's like you ran out of time, or if it's like you got no medals, but you still got to play. Like I don't really know, but it doesn't feel punishing, and it just feels like, oh, we did all right, you know, at the worst.
Yeah.
But just it wasn't us like yelling at each other, whereas that happens with Overcooked I actually haven't played Overcooked with Ashley specifically because in playing it, I was like, I don't know, this would be that fun. But the people that I have played it with, it's like, you know, stressing out, trying to figure out the most efficient way to do it. Whereas this is just like, I don't know. And you're just going around and having a good time. So I would definitely recommend it. If you have somebody locally to play it with.
That's like something that I don't get. You know,
what do you mean?
Like it doesn't compute for like when people like actually get mad at games
neither,
like that.
Honestly.
Like for me, like the Monopoly thing, right? Like I freaking love Monopoly because the dynamic is hilarious. But like Dan actually hates it. Like Dan hates Monopoly, but I think it's so funny. So like, I don't get how people like they're like I know the meme is like Mario Party and like freaking Overcooked and stuff like that ruins relationships. But for me, it's just funny.
It's I think the thing for me is like I'm not super competitive. So like if somebody else, there's times that I can be, but it's pretty rare, and it's usually in response to somebody else that I don't like how competitive they're being or the way in which they're being competitive. But like playing Mario Party for me, if somebody else does better, I'm like, oh, hey, good job on that thing there. So like it diffuses it to the point where like the actual thing and the energy that's supposed to be there ends up being like maybe not what it's supposed to be. So for Overcooked specifically, that ends up like I think the only people I played with Mitch once or twice, and then some other friends of mine like once. And it was very much like, because nobody was yelling at each other, we weren't all that efficient. We were like, oh, can you bring that up? You can't? Okay, that's fine. No worries about it. Like, very Canadian of us, I suppose. Just kidding. We've got a lot of Canadians. Y'all are nice. That's the joke. So, I don't know. I'm like somewhere in the middle. But moving out was like conducive. I'm very much so like a thing of like, no, we want 3 stars, but I'm not gonna like yell at anybody for not getting 3 stars. And it's like a funny thing where it's like, you burnt the thing, you know. It's not like you burnt the thing, I hate you, I'm not talking to you for the next 3 hours, you know. Like, not inviting you to my birthday party.
Yeah.
That said, we did. I forgot to say in what we're playing this week. Again, last night hung out with Mitch and Catherine, and Ashley was over there. And we played a little bit of Jackbox Party Pack game. We played Trivia Murder Party, which is always very fun. It's on Party Pack 3 if you haven't played it. And I won 3 games in a row of it because we were only going to play one, and Catherine won that. And then Ashley, my wife, was like, let's play another one. Just like, you know, give somebody else a chance or whatever. And then I ended up winning it. And she's like, let's play one more. And then she was like, we'll play one more just so everybody has one chance to have won. And I won it again. I was like, I don't know. I'm very good at this, apparently. So, which is usually not the case, but it's a fun time. Rip indeed. Casper3237 said, I'm in the same boat as far as Dragon Quest goes. I'm in the middle of Ni no Kuni. I also picked up the demo for the Almost Gone because of one of your earlier videos and just downloaded the Blasphemous because of this one. Great content. Keep it up. Thanks, Casper. Man, same for Dragon Quest. I mean, obviously I talked about it, but like I do plan to play that game at some point, but I'm not going to play 10 hours of a demo and then wait to play it. So I'm going to wait until I'm just going to play the game because I know I'm going to like it. And I'm curious on what your thoughts were for the Almost Gone, because it definitely didn't super sell me on it. I'm
not huge on demos in general.
It depends for me, for sure. There's some that I'm like, that was like Blasphemous, I thought was a great demo because it gives you a taste of like, this is what the game is. And like, you're gonna like, it's a pilot of a show or whatever. But if the pilot of a show either wraps stuff up or like doesn't point to where the rest of it's going to go anyway, or really give you a taste for it, it's like, okay, I guess I watched that pilot. Great short movie that I just watched, you know.
It's like if they don't handle it like Dragon Quest does, but it
Mm-hmm.
still is like a slice of the game, I'm not down. Like I don't want to
Yeah.
play freaking like say I play a demo and it's like level 7, right? And then I buy
Yeah.
the game and then I play up to level 7 and then I'm playing level 7 from the demo again. That's not fun. But if I
Yeah.
can just play through level 1 through 5
Mm-hmm.
or whatever in the demo and then play
Yeah.
level 6 when I buy the game, I'm down.
Mm-hmm. That is something I should have mentioned for each of these games, which ones actually do save your progression.
Yeah, transfer
Because some
over.
of these did, and then some wouldn't have. So I think Blasphemous actually is one that should, as far as like, because it just plops you in the beginning. I think it like skips some intro cutscene or something like that and just starts you right out. So maybe because of that entirely, it doesn't save your progress over. So that's kind of lame. But at the same time, it's like fun to play anyway. So it's not that big of a deal. But man, Blasphemous, that was a fun demo. That is all. YPCS said, great video. I love both yours and AJ's weekly videos, but this was a nice change plus very informative. Keep up the great content.
Thanks. I think that like we're definitely getting a lot more crossover as time moves on.
Between like
Like
people
both of
knowing who
us.
you and yeah.
Yeah, like, and I even see that in emails now, where like people will preface emails like, "Hi, AJ and Parker," you know.
That's
It's like,
hilarious.
so like,
Yeah.
we're definitely successful in that regard. Where it's
That's
like,
good.
if
Yeah.
somebody watches one of our videos, they probably watch both of our videos.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's been forever since I've seen any
Like,
comments.
who's this Parker guy?
Right. Yeah. Or vice versa. Yeah. Well, definitely not vice versa. I don't know if it's ever happened. But the only time I've seen something like that was when the Zelda video went up on the ZeldaUniverse.net website. And at some point they said fanatixfour something. He said blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
right.
well, and that I understand. Like if you've only seen one video, you just assume fanatixfour or the channel name is one person. You know, if you were like,
people call Bob Wolf then all the time.
yeah, exactly.
Have you been a witness to that at PAX?
Where
somebody will approach Bob and be like, Wolf then?
Yeah. Or just call him Wolf or something. And I'm like, okay.
That one's safe. Like, that's safe to just call him Wolf because this is his last name. But calling him Wolf then it's like, all right.
Wolf den Vods?
It's even worse. That would be hilarious. It would be funny if somebody called me Wolf den Vods. That would be so funny. But like the fact that people call him Wolfden in front of Will, it's like, hey, Wolfden, and the other guy. I was like, what? Like, that's messed up.
Yep. It's true. But yeah, there it is. Thanks for the comment. Last comment. This is from Padmock, who says, Dragon Quest Builder 2 has a great demo that convinced me to buy the game because of an interesting story and pleasant gameplay, and it's long. On the other hand, the Tourist didn't convince me at all, but it certainly has a beautiful artistic style. Yeah, man. I think, and that's like the perfect part about demos for me is ones that I'm like, this could be an interesting game. And then I try it out. I'm like, nah,
it's not, or
no.
it is. Yeah,
so yeah, I enjoyed the Tourist a lot. I still like, the only thing that I didn't love about it was just that it feels like it could have been a little bit bigger than it was. And it definitely, the ending of it is like, we're going to make a sequel. Don't worry about it, which is cool. And I'm very glad about that. And it points to the sequel being like even a kind of different, like if you've seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the sequel to Willy Wonka is the elevator,
like
whatever it's called,
glass,
something elevator, yeah,
something, yeah, glass
that kind of a thing, where it's like a huge departure, you know, but it's same kind of world and vibe and stuff, I guess. But I mean, I haven't read it or anything. Side note, though, I did watch a video. We watched Snowpiercer for the first time. And it was good.
What is that?
Oh, okay. It was the same guy that directed Parasite that came out last year and won all the awards and stuff. He made a movie called Snowpiercer in 2013, and it's Chris Evans. And the whole premise is like the rest of the population of the world, which is like these, I mean, probably fewer than 1,000 people, is all on this one train that's a self-sustained ecosystem that's just going all around the entirety of the globe pretty much, because there was like they released some anti-global warming chemical in space that overcooled the whole world. So now it's like a frozen tundra outside, and you can't go outside without dying after, you know, a couple minutes or something.
Big
So
rip. I hate when that happens, dude.
yeah, I know, seriously. So, but it's a really interesting movie. But I watched a video. It was a film theory kind of thing, not from film theory specifically, but on that Snowpiercer is a sequel to Willy Wonka. It's from a couple of years ago. The video is
what?
but it's really interesting. And I was like, I mean, film theories are just fun in general, but it's pretty convincing in some bits.
That's like another thing that like is very much so like the reaction to that sort of thing is very dependent on the type of person you are.
Yeah.
Because like I think that like I mean we know people from
right.
channel. It's very much so not something that they make being like this is definitely true. It's
right.
Like, this would be fun, you know.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
They take it seriously enough to be like, all right, let's give this some thought.
Yeah.
But not like this is like beyond a shadow of a doubt facts, right?
My favorite was the call to action at the end of this video too. Was like instead of and even preface it in a way that I was like, oh, he's going to ask us to subscribe or whatever. But he was like, if you enjoyed this video, I just ask you to do one thing. Tweet at Chris Evans is Willy Wonka, and then like link this video because if he says that it is, it's canon. I was like, that's so funny. And I'm sure he hasn't specified it, but it was really interesting. So if you've seen Snowpiercer, go look up that video if you haven't. I haven't
seen it, but I'll say that that's an incorrect theory, and it's actually a sequel to Avengers Endgame.
Should have known. Duh. So, but that's it for our videos. Thanks everybody for commenting, and now we'll get onto the massive amount of Q&A that we have. So
it's true.
Here we go. I'm glad that there weren't a ton of news articles because we got a bunch of Q&A.
It's true.
YouTube community. We got some people saying some stuff. Cool said, does AJ like Pokemon?
I don't know.
Ugh.
That'll take a while for me to figure it out. Give me 42 more videos.
Yeah. Also, what are you guys' favorite Mario spin-off game /series? I mean, Smash probably counts a little bit.
That doesn't count. That's not a freaking Mario game.
It's his name is.
That's like, you know that comment that I hate before freaking Pokemon Sword and Shield, where it's like, that wouldn't be a Pokemon game, it would be a game of Pokemon. Yeah. That whole thing. Smash Brothers is a game with Mario in it. I don't know. I think it's probably a sports game, but I don't know which one's my favorite. I guess freaking Mario Sluggers, dude. Mario Sluggers is dope.
Man, I think, okay, so I bet it'll have been Paper Mario after that comes out, because it looks like, I just haven't played a Paper Mario game yet, so I don't know, but I mean, it looks like that's going to be the kind of game that's more up my alley. That said, I really, really enjoyed Mario Tennis for the Game Boy specifically, which is like barely even a Mario game. He's only in like a little bit of the story at the way end and in the multiplayer mode, but it's
like freaking
it's a Mario RPG, you know?
And it's like Mario NBA Tennis Street Volume 3.
So,
others
Mario Kart though.
Mario cheats. So I was watching Ian Why Not, and also occasional directly to you guys. True. I was watching him play a game, and Mario cheats in freaking NBA Street Volume.
Really?
He's broken. I saw Peach cross up Ian. I was like, oof. It was like Ian was like freaking LeBron James or something like that, and Peach completely broke this man's ankles. I was like,
that's
you hate to see it. You hate to see people get dunked on by freaking Princess Toadstool.
Yep. Cool continues going on. Do you think the Switch needs more of them, as in Mario spin-off games? So
put freaking Mario Sluggers on Switch.
Also, Mario Golf.
Tennis.
If you make a good Mario Golf with like a good story mode,
you got to think that's the next one, right? Like,
I think so. Yeah, I've got to remember. I would be so sure it was this year if I didn't also think that they were actually doing the 35th anniversary stuff. If it weren't for that,
that'd be wild. What if they did? What if they just freaking refreshed every Mario series or whatever? Like they were like, all right, we need a Mario sports game. We need a freaking Mario RPG. We need a Mario platformer. You know, like a new Mario Kart. I
think the best Mario spin-offs are edutainment games. We all know it.
Mario is missing.
Mario is missing.
Luigi's Mansion, dude.
Oh, that's Yeah.
Yoshi's Island.
I mean, yeah, exactly. If we start going into like that, then we've got a million. Donkey Kong backwards.
Pikmin is the best Mario spinoff.
It's Mario 100. Was that what it was? Or Mario
Donkey
128?
Kong's
That was
not a
the
Mario spinoff. But hold on, I'm not letting that slide. Mario's a Donkey Kong spinoff.
Yeah, I know. I said, but backwards.
Yeah.
Or I whispered it under my breath or thought it or something. And then continues, what are your ideas for new entries? A sports/party game that hasn't been explored yet as a spin-off title, for example.
I want Mario football, but Mario American football if you're stupid.
Mario does taxes. I don't know what it is yet, but it's something, it'll be interesting.
That's on PC.
Yeah, but no, it's not
it's like a Windows 95 title. Oh, it's like
it's different. It's called Mario Does Taxes.
People die.
Yeah, it's a detective game. It's yeah, there you go. It's a detective game called Mario Does Taxes. It doesn't even make any sense, but you're like, that's what it is.
Here's the premise.
It's like Ace Attorney.
Mario works at H&R Block.
Yeah.
And somebody's mad because like they figured out like they're like very upset because like why are taxes so hard to do? Like everybody has to do them, make them easier. And somebody's fed up and freaking murders Toad because Toad is like not helping them with their freaking taxes easy enough, and they're getting charged too much. And Mario has to figure out who done it.
I was gonna say, or he's doing taxes, he's H&R Block, all that stuff. He finds discrepancies in people's books and then goes and like detectives them. No, but figures out that like this person was paying off this other person, and like it's still it's a murder mystery kind of thing. But that's how he like gets clued.
But he's not solving a murder. He's serving. He works for the IRS. He doesn't work for freaking H&R Block.
No, he's a vigilante on the side. You know,
okay.
A secret detective.
He's just like an IRS super fan.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. Good question. Cool. I like it. Alvaro Chacon Hermosillo.
I apologize for Parker.
Yeah, I mean I could. Alvaro Chacon Hermosillo said the possibility. This is like I tweeted the other day. I'm doing Japanese on Duolingo. And I tweeted the other day, the only way that I can sound at all Japanese-ish, quote unquote, is by just doing like straight up anime voices. Because if I just say it like normal,
then you're like Bob. You're like Boku no Hero.
Yeah, it's funny because like my default is to have more of like a French accent because that's just like my natural other not English accent. So I've got to like, whatever, say it in All Might type voices. But in any case, Alvaro says the possibility of a brand new IP Nintendo game 1. Maybe the 1 wasn't supposed to be there and I accidentally pasted it in there, but possibility of brand new IP Nintendo
so
game.
I said ideas for topics too.
Oh,
so
yeah. Cool.
The possibility of
it's Mario Taxes. We got it already. We figured it out.
We did it. Is that a new IP? I don't know. I mean, that's kind of like Mario Kart is an IP, I guess.
Right, exactly.
So we did it.
A brand new Nintendo IP. I think there's more of them than I think they need to do more or could or should, whatever. But I think there's also depends on what you define as.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they publish new IPs like
all the time.
What's Sushi Striker or whatever? Like that's a new
Sushi
Nintendo
Striker,
IP.
Snipper
But it wasn't one we
Clips,
necessarily wanted.
freaking,
the Stretchers. All these things. Astral Chain, whatever.
Good Job.
Mm-hmm. So, but as far as an arms level Nintendo IP, they like develop, publish, and it's like Nintendo through and through. I'd still imagine we'll see one in the next year or two, couple years, something. But I don't know.
I don't know. I think that like new IP for them are kind of like we need to freaking launch a console.
Yeah, I was about to.
Like, that's
I
what
was
it
thinking
feels
the same
like.
thing just now. Yeah, that like
I don't know.
They wait for a. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, if they did do a new IP, any thoughts as to what you'd want it to be?
I usually try to default to like them like covering a genre that they don't already, or that
Right.
none of their franchises would naturally fit into. And I honestly don't know of any that they don't already like fill that void in one way or another. Like there's definitely like genres that like I feel like they don't like double down on certain aspects that most other studios do, like freaking like third person action games and stuff like freaking The Last of Us sort of situations or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But they have games in that genre. They just don't double down on the story side. They're like, okay, Breath of the Wild, like that's what you're going to get. Where there's story, sure. Nintendo focuses way more on lore than they do on like direct narrative. Like there's a ton of lore in Zelda and Breath of the Wild specifically, and there's a ton of lore in like Pokemon and even like Mario. There's a ton of lore.
Yeah,
but they don't like.
They kind of leave it up to your interpretation.
Yeah, like.
Yep. It's true. Lizdrin asks, who makes the best?
I might as well do his second question. He has two.
Oh, yeah, he has two. Look at that. Switch Pro? Alvaro. This is back to Alvaro. Switch Pro. 2020? No.
I'm not pro Switch. I'm anti-Switch, dude. But I don't know if they'll call it that. And I don't know if that'll just end up being like the follow up to Switch.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
I think
like the Switch Lite threw everything out of whack. Because like a lot of times what Nintendo, or every time what Nintendo does is they're like, all right, here's what this console is about, and that's just what it's going to be until it's not anymore, right? Or until it doesn't exist, right?
Yeah.
The Switch Lite and like the 2DS sort of are like the only times that they didn't do that. And like the Switch Lite doesn't make any sense. Like in that regard, as far as like them being like, okay, like we have a vision for what we want this console to be, and that's what it's going to be. The 2DS made sense because it's like, we have a vision for what this console can be. Wait, we can't legally sell that vision to most of our audience. Gotta pivot, you know?
Yeah, right.
Whereas like with the Switch, it's like they had a vision, and that vision is mostly what people use it for, right? Like there's people that like more lean on one side or the other, but for the most part, like if you account for the people that only play handheld and only play like, you know, docked or whatever, and then you account for the people that play both, it evens out. It's like either 50% or like 25% is only handheld and 25% is only docked and 50% does both, right? Like they realized that vision, but Switch Lite kind of was like, we don't care, we just want a cheaper one, and this is our idea of how to make it cheaper.
I think first of all, I think something around this may actually be my topic for a video next week, unless something else comes up. So I'm not going to get super in depth in some of my thoughts, but yeah, I would imagine, unless they're just waiting for a full on Switch 2 swap, whatever.
Is your video called "I am anti Nintendo Switch Pro"?
No. Well, here I'll go. I think maybe it's gonna be like every possible iteration or whatever of the Switch Pro, like you know, all the different options, because like we don't know what it's going to be, if it's going to happen at all, but like just I haven't even like done the research to think about what all the options are, but whether that be exactly the same form factor but stronger, a different form factor, what that would look like, or et cetera, et cetera. So
I mean, you could definitely like do kind of like a thing of like, okay, here's what they usually do, and then also here's what, because what a lot of people try to do now, or always with Nintendo, is like, they've never done that before,
right? Yeah,
but
they keep doing things they don't do, so
that
like
they've never done before,
right?
Exactly. I think it's more productive to look at the other places that Nintendo seems to be looking at. At least that they seem to be looking is Apple. Like they want to be Apple, and it's kind of obvious. So I think that's a
So yeah, I don't know. I'll possibly let you know my thoughts on that in a video. But yeah, I don't think 2020. But
yeah, no, definitely not 2020.
You know, it is what it is. But I bet at some
point
point
launch hardware in the year of our Lord 2020.
No kidding. Okay, and then last question from YouTube community. Lizdrin asks, who makes the best barbecue sauce?
Okay, so the first thing that came to my mind was like, for whatever reason, was restaurants. And like, not like restaurants make the best one, but like to be like this,
but like Wendy's barbecue sauce.
Exactly.
Is better than,
Exactly. But like that, a lot of restaurants, they commission like freaking, like barbecue
Yeah.
sauce companies to
Yeah.
make their barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
think, I
because
think
the
like,
packaging is something also doesn't mean it's uniquely made by that. For example,
yeah,
there's five companies of pretzel manufacturers that are all made in the same factory and boxed as different, like
yeah.
whatever Snyder, like these five, which is just so funny. They're like, yeah, we're better than this one. And it's like, you literally are the exact same
Yeah,
pretzel from the same
you're
factory.
made from the same mold, dude.
Yeah. So like that's really funny. So same goes for barbecue sauce. They could, for all we know, Wendy's barbecue sauce is Sweet Baby Ray. It's not, but
Yeah.
that kind of a thing.
Isn't like I think Burger King is a Sweet Baby Ray. There's
Is
definitely
it?
there's a partnership somewhere that's
Okay,
like
I can see that.
like,
I'll have a
and that's
pretty
what
yeah.
freaking like McDonald's used to do with ketchup, but now apparently they have their own ketchup.
Their own ketchup. My answer for this is gonna be based out of nostalgia, less so actual preference. Bullseye barbecue sauce. A, it's pretty good. It's really good. But B, when we lived in France or whatever, that was the only kind of barbecue sauce we could get because we just had one American store in downtown Geneva that we'd go to very seldom, but sometimes, and we'd stock up on barbecue sauce, and that was the only brand they had. So for me, it's like the quintessential barbecue sauce flavor,
I'm gonna say Sweet Baby Ray's for a similar reason.
Nice.
I mean, it's just I guess that at whatever point my parents were like, "This is the one,"
Yep.
and it's like, all right, whatever, I guess so. Like,
My
there's no
kid
reason
is just
to not.
my kid's just gonna be like, I guess Kroger barbecue sauce. That's
Yeah.
the only, or Walmart barbecue sauce, the cheapest one there is. That's all there is. Yeah, that's me. And that's what I do.
Dude.
As a grown up.
I still, because that's why I'm like, sure, I'll buy that. I think the only thing that I don't do that with is like cheese, because like my parents were like, they did that, where it's like, this is the cheese, like it's the cheap cheese.
Yeah.
That's what I'm buying. But me, I'm like, nah, man, I'm getting like good stuff.
Cheese can be very good.
Yeah,
again, lived in France and Switzerland, so like cheese is important.
Yeah, that's true.
Good stuff. Okay, questions from Twitter now. A whole bunch of them. Chock full of questions. Izakaya Crunchy Mikula. Yeah. At Washigigan said Nintendo gave up on Nintendo Direct.
I guess
Maybe.
Probably.
We'll find
Possibly. We'll see.
I think, I mean, like I said, at the top, I think it really just depends. I bet, they've got at least one more that they're going to do, and they're going to try some
like
things
the send-off direct. Like,
well, like, I mean,
is it going to be like a YouTube video? We need to talk about Nintendo Direct. And then
just their face, just Miyamoto.
Just sad. Yeah.
Yeah. That it is funny thinking back. We haven't seen Furukawa out front nearly as much as I anticipated that we would. You know what I mean? That's all.
I mean, we didn't see
we didn't see
what is his name?
Oh man.
What is his name?
That is
after Iwata. Who's the guy after Iwata?
Yeah.
Oh my God. We said this man's name every week for a year and a half or something like that.
Kimishima.
Yeah. We didn't see Kimishima. So I think that's why. It's like, I think that
I figured
like
it was because he was
wasn't like freaking,
Yeah.
he wasn't like CEO / host. So
Right.
It was just
He
like,
just liked doing
this. It's like, I'll do that.
Yeah. That was like similarly watching Hamilton this morning. And I've thought this for a while, but especially watching the whole thing all at once. Like Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote all of Hamilton, wrote the music, whatever. I mean, I'm sure he had other people that, did some things with him, but like amazing that he did all that. And then watching it, he does a fantastic job and like acts in it very well and stuff. But like his singing voice compared to the singing voices of all the other people that are like auditioned for it and stuff, or like friends of his that are just really good, like definitely very different, bar as far as like he does a great job. He carries the melody and all that stuff, but it's like a, more interesting voice. But because he did the thing, he's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be up front there, and it's gonna be good, and it is good.
Yeah,
but,
it's like he's like more of like the
so like Iwata.
you know,
Similarly,
like
he was
the
like
typical like Disney Channel actor where it's like you got to be able to sing. You don't got to be
Yeah.
able to sing great, but you got to be able to like kind
Yeah.
of sing.
Yeah, exactly. So nobody hate me for saying that about Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's great, but he's just not as good a singer as the
Yeah,
other
he's
people.
just not like freaking opera trained or whatever.
Yeah, and David Diggs and all that.
Yeah.
But continuing on, Falcon F-Zero Kid asks
I
us
play
if
Smash
you.
Bros with him. He doesn't like. He
believe
doesn't
it.
like. I was about to call it violence. He doesn't like movement.
Oh, really? He says if you could add 5 characters to Mario Kart 9 that have never been in a Mario Kart game, who would they be? I've got Cammy Koopa from Paper Mario, Professor Egad from
This is
Luigi's Mansion.
specifically him.
This is Falcon.
Parker, yeah.
Professor Egad from Luigi's Mansion, Lubba from
Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Super Mario Galaxy 2. Oh, okay. Kirby
Big
from
fan.
Kirby, and Cappy and with Tiara as an alt from Super Mario Odyssey.
Yo, that'd be sick.
Go ahead. We can do 5 between us if we can't think of 5.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah. I want Min Min to put Min Min in Mario Kart or Twin Tail. No, put Twin Tail in there. That'd be dope if it was like 2 separate representatives from moms. One in Smash Brothers, another one in Mario Kart.
I do think Kirby. I was also thinking Kirby.
Nah, we can't say Kirby. He said Kirby.
I know, but I'm just saying I agree. I mean, I agree with several of these. Professor Egad's also awesome.
I'm surprised he's never been in it. I would have thought he was like in freaking Mario Kart Wii or something.
Yeah. I do. Yeah. So I guess here's the 2 directions you can go is like more
like
Rosalina. First of all, Rosalina.
She's already in Mario Kart, dude. She's in Mario
Kart Tour. She's not in.
Yes.
No, sorry. I meant Pauline. I'm so sorry.
100% is. There's baby Rosalina and
yeah. I totally this whole time I was picturing Pauline,
you
not
said
Rosalina.
But
I totally said Rosalina. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Pauline needs to be in the game. Yes. It's dumb that she's not.
Yep. Which I mean, like, yeah, she wouldn't have had opportunity really, I guess, before Super Mario Odyssey.
Not true.
Just saying, nobody.
They could have added her as DLC. They added freaking Breath of the Wild link. They could have added Pauline.
So yeah, I think Pauline. Who'd you say? Twin Tail.
Or Twin Tail. Yeah, Twin Tail.
Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, characters from other franchises. I think is always. I think
other franchises is the easiest one because I don't know if they ever like freaking are bloopers in Mario Kart. Put a blooper. In Mario
bloopers are items. I think so. That would be a little bit odd.
I mean, the Koopa shells are items.
That's true. Oh, that's dark. Just saying.
Put a Bob-omb in Mario Kart.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I don't know why we don't have Bob-ombs. A red Bob-omb. We'll do that because they're more NPC-ish.
Freaking the King Bob-omb.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Was he? Has he been? I don't know. I
almost want to say I don't think so. I was thinking of Double Dash. But I was thinking King Boo is, but I don't think King Bob-omb has been. Has he been in any games besides 64? Come to think of it,
Super Mario Party, technically.
Yeah, right.
But he's not like playable.
Yeah. So yeah, I think. So who we've got? Twin Tail, King Bob-omb, Blooper maybe, Pauline.
I was joking about Blooper. We don't have to do Blooper because Inkling's in it. And Inkling's pretty much Blooper.
Yeah.
His successor.
Yep. Who are side characters from spin-off games?
Oh, no. He's been in freaking... Wait. Mario Kart. Oh, no. No, that doesn't count. I'm going to say that doesn't count. I'm calling a veto on that.
Mario Kart Tour?
It says he was in Mario Kart DS, but he was like a boss.
Oh, yeah, no, that doesn't count.
And he's a non-playable character in the arcade game. That doesn't count.
Has Piranha Petey Piranha. Yeah. Petey Piranha was in Double Dash.
He was in Double Dash. Yep.
Yeah.
Hammer Bros or Hammer. I don't think Hammer Bros have ever been in Mario.
No,
Kart.
They haven't. That would be awesome. Also, just put in Olivia from.
Get that freaking cross promotion, dude.
Yeah.
Put Paper Mario in Mario Kart.
Oh wait, if we get EGAT in there, then Polterpup, 100%.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That'd be so good.
I'm down.
All right, that's definitely more
probably
than 5.
more than 5.
That's,
Yeah.
Honestly, that's the thing. Nintendo, there's so many, even just Mario spin-off characters that would be great. So I think if the next one comes out, and I feel like they'll take a step back from doing
in Mario Kart.
I don't think so. Not any that I can think of. So, be Goomba. People might be mad about that as well, just because it's kind of boring one. But
man, I don't care.
I
don't care. People are asking for freaking Waddle Dee in Smash Bros. I don't hear nothing about boring.
Yeah. All right, and then Pocket at Papaoche says, "Please have Ian on again. Aside from getting me to shut up about what's wrong with Pokemon, and I really need to, it was fun listening to you all. Did you guys play the original Final Fantasy Chronicles, Crystal Chronicles on the Wii? Is the upcoming remake worthy of hyping? I think it's on the GameCube. Maybe it's also on the Wii.
And
but
yeah, it might be on the Wii too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the original was on GameCube because it was like I think that was like one of the
Game Boy Advance
things.
Was, yeah.
Yeah.
I never played it, but
I'm sure I've played it like once or twice over a friend's house, but I've never owned it.
I will be curious in general about multiplayer RPGs in general. Like that seems like I just don't play that many multiplayer games. So like I could imagine if you really like multiplayer stuff and RPGs that could go well together, but I don't know what friends I would get together and be like, we're going to, even online,
you're trying to play Crystal Chronicles.
Right. Yeah. So that'll be an interesting time. But I don't know, it'll be fun. I think if you're into RPGs and you have other people to play it with, sounds like it'll definitely be worth playing, but I don't know past that because
it was, if I'm remembering correctly, that I played this game over friends' houses like twice in my life. It was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's something that I would personally like be hyped for. It would be something that comes out and I'm like, oh, that came out, I'll play it. How much is it? $15? I'm down. Like.
But how much is it? $100? No thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, why didn't we talk about that?
I know, NBA. I just thought about it.
Yeah.
That's. Do you think that's going to be a precedent overall?
I don't know. I think that it should be, honestly, but it should. Yeah. I think the problem is like
that plus microtransactions.
Games have. Even that, like, I don't know if that changes my mindset on it at all. Games having a set price, I think, hurts everybody in the long run.
Yeah.
Because you hurt your game one way or the other by not doing it, right? Because like if you're like, okay, we think like how Nintendo approaches the value of their games, right? They're not really thinking about content as much, or like quantity of content. Yeah, quantity of content as much as they're thinking of the quality of their IP, right? So they're like, yeah, freaking Kirby Star Allies is 4.5 hours long to 100%, but it's Kirby, so it's worth $60, right? Like having that blanket price in that way, I think pressures you to like feel that way, right? Where it's like, well, if our game isn't like at least standard price, that's saying our IP isn't at least of the standard, you know? Whereas if it's like normalized again, because that's how game pricing used to be, where it's just like some games might be $30, other games might be 80, you know? Like I think that in the long run, that will like, it'll level itself out, where games more often than not, if they're Breath of the Wild sized and all that stuff, they might be $70. But if they're freaking Kirby Star Allies, they'll be $45 or whatever.
It definitely does seem like in general that standard is broadening as a whole, because you'll also have, you know, like Crash and Chain Trilogy at $40 at launch or whatever, you know, like those kinds of things, or like Sonic games will come out at $40 and stuff. So there's still like, it seems like there's a AAA price, AA price, indie game price that's like vague. But it would be nice if I could see individual companies still, like Nintendo being like, this is our standard, we're going to do this, you know, and Captain Toad's going to be $40, but these other things are going to be more. And it would be still nice for them to do more variety within that. But it does seem like overall it's starting to vary a bit more. So I do wonder with the $70 thing with NBA, if that'll be the case where there's now more more variety, even just from that, because other games will be like, we're still doing $60, but you guys are doing $70, and if that ends up branching out more, because there's games that'll come out like $50 now as well, like some RPGs or something like that are like full on RPGs, but they're $50 because whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting.
I think like at least in the short term, it'll definitely be like, if it happens, because this could just be like, price holder, whatever, or placeholder prices and stuff like that.
Right.
But if it happens, it'll probably be like a next gen thing. It's like, because this is next gen and we're still like actively making games for current or last gen, I guess. Current gen is going to be like current gen is going to be 60, and then next gen is going to be 70. Maybe. But I also think that like something Bob brought up, he retweeted this story or just somebody talking about it, and then he was like, what does this mean for smart delivery or whatever? I think that makes it less of a possibility that this is a thing, at least for most games. Because I can't see Microsoft like eating that $10 just because, right? So
yeah, that's a good question. Also, a very good question. Alec asks, bread, good or bad snack?
Wait. Okay. So is this like how you're stupid crap about how freaking like
theoretical pears?
No, not pears.
Oh, snack foods and raspberries and stuff.
Yeah, raspberries being snacks and oranges not being snacks. Like, is this like that? Like, is it like the form factor good for being a snack, or are you asking if bread is good or bad?
Probably the form factor for being a snack, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I think
it depends on the bread. Like I'm not
exactly
freaking snacking on rye bread.
Yeah,
but like
if you got like a baguette or something like that you can like rip off a bit of and just like eat a bit, or like pretty much if it's good bread, yeah, man, that could be a snack. But if it's like slices of bread or like in a bag that you buy for like sandwiches or whatever, probably not, because that's just,
I don't know. Even if it's good bread, it depends on what kind of bread it is. Like, because you can have good rye bread.
Yeah, no,
but
for
it's
sure.
still like rye bread, and I'm not just going to eat that by itself.
Yeah. Yeah, some of them definitely have more, like rye bread is one for me that you need to have very specific things on it to like counteract its very specific flavor.
Right.
So yeah, depends on the bread. But I think it can be a good snack depending on what it is,
Yeah.
That's what I'd say. Alicia Benitez says, how do you guys feel after that shareholders meeting? Should Nintendo take notes from Pokemon on releasing news or content sharing?
I don't think Nintendo. I mean, I don't think they could. Yeah, I don't think they could do what Pokemon does, because Pokemon is Pokemon. I think that, like, at least like blanket statement, like Nintendo couldn't do that. Nintendo couldn't release Good Job and be like, expect a special presentation for Good Job, right? No matter what it is Pokemon. So even when like the announcement is disappointing for a segment of the audience, there's going to be 4-year-olds that are freaking amped, dude.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily the case with all of Nintendo's IP. So I think that Mario, like if the question was like, could Super Mario be Pokemon? 100%. Could like freaking Zelda? Yes, but I don't think all of their franchises can be marketed in the way that Pokemon is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because it sounds like the question is, like doing the Pokemon Presents and that kind of thing. And I think, there's definitely something to be said for like, especially the short presentations like they were. Nintendo has more breadth of things that just, I mean, this is kind of what you were saying, just in a different way of there's like, things are less likely to have quite as much cross-pollination, where like I'm interested in the IP that is all the things in the Pokemon Presents. I just don't care about the form factor of several of those things. But whereas with a Nintendo Direct or something like that, it's entirely possible, depending on how they do it, that you could be not interested in the IP or the form factor, or one way or another. So there's more room for it to go poorly or whatever. But as far as how I feel about after the shareholders meeting,
a bad move to do it as a blanket thing, because with Pokemon it's like kind of like what I said in response to people being like, they said it was a big announcement. it objectively is a big announcement.
Right.
Not every announcement Nintendo has is objectively a big announcement.
Right.
So for them to like kind of hype it up in that way, like it is, and
Mhm.
it's an 11-minute long presentation on one game, I don't think they can do that unless it's Zelda, unless it's Mario. You know, they can't do that with freaking Dylan's Rolling Western. You know, like
Yeah, I do wonder if that one's coming back. Like, there's, you know, like Box Boy and Box Girl, or Box Boy in general, came back, and some other ones. So like, I do wonder about the 3DS kind of eShop IPs that they have, if they're going to do anything with those. Good to stay. But as far as like how I feel after the shareholders meeting and stuff, I don't know that anything. Yeah, I probably don't feel any specific way after that either.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, we talked about that a little bit, but you know, a lot of that, we don't often get that much insight on the future of Nintendo out of the shareholders meetings, outside of insight into how they operate and how they think about Nintendo and these kinds of things, which that's really interesting to like understand them better. But as far as like, here's what
there's
we're going to
no
do
like
next,
freaking juicy details
right? Yeah.
On the future. It's always like, oh, did you know that Breath of the Wild cost $4,500 to make only? Did you know that? No, like that sort of thing.
Or just like,
for the
like,
record, it did not. It cost millions.
But you know, them talking about how, you know, how it is that Miyamoto comes up with making something or whatever.
Right.
Like, that's interesting for us to understand, but it doesn't paint a picture about the next couple months or anything.
I think that's the closest thing we get to that, like a game announcement where it's like, hey, Miyamoto got a really cool lawnmower, so like look out for a new game in the future, dude.
Yeah. That is funny. So good question though. Yeah. There it is. Jordan DeBest says, can you guys play a little devil's advocate on why you think this year has been so dry besides the obvious virus going around? I have two thoughts. Here goes. Number one, I don't know that there are that many reasons besides the virus going around, maybe.
Yeah.
So like, kind of hard to play devil's advocate for that. But also, I don't also know if it's been as dry as we think that it has, for the reasons that, like, I think if we line up 2020 versus especially like 2018, then we've probably got about as many first party releases in the first 6 months. Probably not. I mean, there were a couple of ports in 2018 that probably counted for like one Animal Crossing is one Donkey Kong plus one Hyrule Warriors or something like that. I don't know.
I don't even know about that. I mean, I think 2018, the closest thing we got to, well, freaking Pokemon Let's Go. But that would be like
but that was still the second half, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So, the only thing that,
everything that we got in the second half was like, well, not everything, but like the only thing that could even come close to competing with Animal Crossing in terms of like commercial success, is freaking Super Mario Party. And throughout that,
I wasn't even saying like the, you know, to Nintendo as far as like how many copies it sells or anything, but just to an individual of like, I don't know, feeling dry because
it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
like
true.
Because like if a lot of like, I mean, of course, for like the super like hardcore gamer or whatever, they might not be the one of the freaking 11 million people that bought Pokemon Let's Go. But I mean, it objectively is a big deal game if it sells that much, you know.
Yeah.
So like it's hard to be like, this year's dry if they open the year with a game that's bigger than most of their holiday seasons have been in the last 8 years or whatever, or 10 years even.
I mean, yeah, because so the other part of that equation is, I think it's hard to say, like, Nintendo hasn't been super great in their first halves of years.
Yeah. And
anyway,
that's what, like, to answer the question, or to I don't know, like perform the prompt. I think that is the problem, is their structure is like so like down to the wire.
Heavy. Yeah.
Like they're like, hey man, stuff comes out when it's done, and that's when we're doing it, right? And because they can't do that anymore, they can't be like, well, and that, like, this game's probably like 8 dedicated months of working on it away from releasing, so we'll announce it when it's ready. They can't work in the way that they think of their deadlines now, so their deadlines get pushed out further away.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to say officially by the end of the year how dry it's been compared to other years. But
Yeah.
I really like, they could honestly at this point just keep announcing games, or like, you know, do something where they announce games for the rest of the year. And then turns out there's like 6 new, you know, first party Nintendo games that come out the rest of the year, at which point we've got just as many, maybe more than 2018 had, as just an example. And like arguably 2018, a lot of people consider to be a dry year. So that's a bit subjective anyway. But yeah, I think like it's felt like a dry year because we haven't known what's coming next. Whereas all the other years at this point, we have known at least one holiday, you know, that kind of title, generally more than one. So it's felt kind of weird because there's not this stuff to look forward to. But I don't know. I feel like we'll see when the year's done how it actually turned out. And it's very possible that it does end up, it was just a super dry year, other than Animal Crossing, which is arguably one of the biggest games. I mean, it is one of the biggest games, you know, for Nintendo in general.
It's like top 5 franchises.
Yeah.
Currently.
It's crazy. Yeah. And I guess they've got their financial numbers now that I mean, we won't see them for like 2 or 3 weeks, but we'll find out soon what these past 3 months look like, which will be crazy. Yay. And then last question from Twitter is from I'ma Stay Inside, also at Dark Type Music, said, would you rather, this is an interesting question. I read this one earlier and had to get my mind around it. Would you rather
confused.
be
I'm still
a Sony Microsoft fan, yet there are bi-monthly Nintendo Directs that occur, or be a diehard Nintendo fan that's anti-Sony / Microsoft and never have a Nintendo Direct ever again?
I mean, probably the second one. Like, because, I mean, I have a PlayStation and Xbox, but I never play them. Mm-hmm. So, like, I would just never play games. Because, like, if I'm not a Nintendo fan, like, the only thing that would do for me is, like, lead to me having to deal with people being like, man, Nintendo's so great. And I'm like, man, I hate Nintendo or whatever, right? Like, that's all that would happen. Like, I wouldn't care about the Directs if I'm anti-Nintendo.
I mean, it also depends on this, like, when you say there's no Nintendo Direct, are we still... Does that mean,
like, are we still getting games?
Right.
Yeah.
Because if we're still getting games, then like, yeah, I don't care if there's a Nintendo. I mean, I think Nintendo Directs are very fun. I really enjoy.
I think they're fun too,
them.
but like, I think they're fun. I don't think they're functional. Like at the end of the day, I think they cause more negativity than they do positivity. At the end of the day, like they don't really do much positive that just announcing a game in and of itself. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't accomplish, right? Like, if people are hype about it, they're hype about it.
Yep.
If they're not, they're not. But I feel like a huge swath of the community is always pissed off, regardless of what they announce during a Nintendo Direct. It never fails. Mm-hmm. Like, Nintendo Directs are never universally good. There's always like at least like on a good Direct, you know, a good Direct, there's at least 45% of the people that are pissed about it. Like,
yeah. It's pretty generous, but probably also right. Yeah, the irony of this question is like without the extremes of it, I'm definitely the second one where I'm not anti-Sony or Microsoft, but like I also don't have a PlayStation or Xbox and don't really like, that's fine. And there hasn't been a Nintendo Direct in a while. And even the last one that there was, some people wouldn't even consider one. So like right now I'm living that second half life just without the being mad about it part, I guess.
It's true.
Questions from Discord. Duncan says, yo. He didn't say yo, but Nintendo Direct when? With SpongeBob.
The SpongeBob meme.
Never, obviously, because I'm anti-Sony and Microsoft. Duncan?
Wait, what? Oh, yeah, true. I get it now. I get it. I was like, I'm confused. I'm very confused.
So, yeah, there's that.
I thought you were like, I'm anti-Sony and Microsoft, so I canceled Nintendo Directs. I'm like, wait, what? Why that doesn't accomplish anything for you?
Sure does. Treble Steinberg says, do you think that Nintendo is ever going to bring the Zelda games to Switch? If so, do you suspect it'll be a package situation or individual purchases?
So older Zelda games.
Yeah, I'm guessing like Ocarina of Time, maybe Majora's Mask, all that.
I don't know if they'll bring all of them. I don't know. It depends on how they felt about doing it on Wii U, because Wii U is like the Zelda machine. Like there's literally every Zelda game, excluding freaking Link's Awakening, for Nintendo Switch, is on the Wii U. And wait, no, all of them are on Wii U. Like that's, I don't know if they're like burned by that, if they're like, it didn't perform well enough for us, so we're never doing that again. Zelda games are only on their platforms and also Wii U and nothing else.
Yeah. I think the other factor to consider is what their long-term hardware plan is in general. Like if, and how NSO and all that stuff factors into it. Because if their plan is we're going to do the Switch and then we're going to do the swap and we're going to keep building the library of games from now until
going
then,
up until GameCube or whatever.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So in that case, then they're just going to go really slow and we'll have all of them, but it'll take forever. If that's not the case, then I mean, I could see N64 games, coming as early as this year. I think if we
do end up getting, because another thing that's been rumored for a while is a Skyward Sword or remaster or freaking remake or whatever coming to Switch. If that happens, then possibly. I don't know how many of them, but I could see them being like, well, if we're going to do Skyward Sword, then we might as well freaking do Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. Or even be like, well, if we're going to do Skyward Sword, we might as well like do freaking like Ocarina of Time or something like that, right? Because like that's not like remastered on Wii U. So like let's just remaster all the ones that aren't remastered on Wii U here.
I could see them. I mean, right now, I feel like some of those kinds of games are just back pocket material that they have kind of saved for a rainy day, which like you might say 2020 is a rainy day, but I don't know that that's actually the case for them. So I feel like, they use ports to buff out extra windows so that they can work longer on the games they're already going to be working on, so they can, keep them as polished as possible or whatever.
Right.
So I could see them just doing those like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess as releases that they do down the road. But I think eventually we'll see, between the Switch and the swap, we'll see most of the Zelda games, but it might just take a really long time. That's my guess.
It's true. I can see it. I agree.
Yep.
That's canon.
And that's individual purchases is my guess. Not package situation. It would be great if it was. Maybe if the Mario thing does very well, no, they already have to be planning ahead for next year. If they feel like the Mario thing and it is going to be a package situation does really well, then maybe they'll plan to do it that way next year. Because next year's 35th.
See, I don't even know if that's true. Like, what if the Mario thing does really well, and then they're like, "Hey, we could, do it separately. Like, we could sell all of them in one thing. Maybe
monies."
Yeah. So who knows?
Next question from GK Dope Esquire says, 2 questions regarding Universal Studios builds their. Oh yeah, I totally forgot to include that news.
Also true. That's also true.
Regarding Universal Studios builds their Super Nintendo World in Orlando. When, if, is it ever actually going to be built? Number 1, would you want to go? Number 2, what would you hope the experience would be like? What kinds of rides, shows, etc.? Number 1, well, yeah.
Yeah. So I freaking, as a lot of people know, I lived in Florida for like freaking 2 years.
It's true.
And I have a lot of friends that live in Florida and stuff like that. And they're like, I freaking went to college in Florida, and both my friends and also my college are like, you should come visit. And I'm like, yeah, but I need a reason, like that's like, it's freaking work. Like it's work going somewhere and also maintaining this channel. And unless what I'm going there for is also to make videos.
Yeah.
Right. Because then it's like I don't have to like work ahead. I can just be like, okay, I can continue to do what I was doing before, but just like in a different way. So doing like Nintendo, the Universal Studios Nintendo attractions is like, that was going to be the thing that's like, okay, yeah, that's what I'm here. I'm going to be here for like freaking 2 weeks or something like that. I'm going to make a video about Universal Studios, and then there it is.
There it is. 100%. Yes, I want to go. Also, my wife definitely wants to go to Harry Potter World, and that's there as well. So it's at some point that's going to happen. What do you hope the experience would be like? What kinds of rides, all that kind of stuff?
Yo, you know what? Hear me out. Listen to me. You know what they need to do? They need to. So freaking. You ever been to Disney World?
Yeah,
specifically like Epcot. Well, I think that's that.
It's been a while, but yes,
they have rides like this where it's like a arcade like rail shooter sort of thing. You're like in a car and you're make a Pokemon Snap ride like that. If you don't do it, you're cowards.
Yeah,
it's very obvious to do that. Do it.
Because that kind of thing would be super easy, first of all, because you can like, you don't have to, the ride itself can be super boring, as far as like the actual planning it out. But it's like I don't know, whatever other rides are like that, where you like, just look at things. It's a small world, that kind of thing. It's like, that's a boring ride, but like if you're interacting with it in some way, that's a good idea.
And they could even do like really cool stuff with that, right? Like, because Nintendo's weird and they like doing cool, weird stuff. Like they could like, it could be like ghost themed during Halloween, and then like you can only take pictures of ghosts with like an AR sort of situation.
Yep.
Like I'm telling you, man,
it would be dope.
Just do it.
I think that either some kind of fast ride that's either Kirby Air Ride,
some kind of fast ride,
F-Zero, Star Fox, one of those.
I don't know if that would make people more or less angry if they're like, here's a freaking F-Zero ride, and then they steal it and make a game. Like,
but it would be cool.
Actually, they should, you know what? They should do it with Star Fox. Don't do it with F-Zero. Do it with Star Fox.
With those, actually, I changed my mind. Instead of like full-on rides with those, do the have multiple experiences, but they're the little like things that you get into that like the VR. It's like a pod or whatever, but it like feels like you're on a roller coaster, because then it can like.
And like, are you talking about like? Well, if you were 10, you definitely didn't get on. Well, no, you definitely didn't get on this ride. They had at Epcot, they have this freaking like mission space thing or whatever, and it's like this pod, it spins really, really, really fast, and it like feels like you're in space. You went on? I think it was even there.
I think it was pretty new at the time, but I've definitely been on it. Yeah.
So that means we went around the same time, because when the first time that I went, obviously I've been there since, but the first time that I went, that it like just got there. I was like, it's cool. It's a cool thing. My head hurts, but it's cool.
My dad hated it. He's claustrophobic and like he was not thrilled. But yeah, man, something like that would be, I don't know, other like shows or whatever. I don't know. Something good Zelda would be dope. I don't know what exactly. Ride around on a skyloft in the like, the 3D rides where everybody's on this big platform that does things. Because I'm trying to think of like consolidating space, because you can't have just like a ton of actual roller coasters of everything. But like, I don't know if they have them everywhere, but like, I think there was one in SeaWorld there, but also Busch Gardens Williamsburg it's like a theater that you're in, and you're wearing 3D glasses. And
it's like that.
You sit in seats, and it's like.
Is it the one where you're like in a box and like a witch gets you or something?
Yes, yeah, exactly. It's not that anymore. It was Corkscrew Hill was what that was. But then they changed it to now it's like you just fly around Europe, and it's like, look at all these cool sights in Europe and stuff.
That's
and
some
it's like
nerd stuff.
And I'm like, this is.
I like the witch lady better.
Witch lady was great. Corkscrew Hill was dope. That's what I want, is all that. But right around Hyrule,
because that was like the only part of that I remembered. It had corkscrew in the name, and like I don't know why I remembered that, but
good old Corkscrew Hill, man.
All right, it's cool.
Next question from Grimhane: best theoretical food.
Well, I mean, we've established that I think that
you don't believe in this premise. Yeah. Man, I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those.
You know what? I got one.
Okay.
Any food that's in anime, literally any food, because it always looks way better than it's going to taste in real life.
I can see that.
And that's not to say I don't like a lot of food that's in anime, but it always looks like it's going to taste better than it actually does.
Yep. I was so confused too when I played the Lickitung game, which is just sushi things, going around. I didn't know anything about sushi, that it even existed. So I had no idea like what things were and, what would be worth more and all that kind of stuff. And
like, this isn't a jelly donut.
Yeah. And like they have, I guess it's a jar of wasabi is the idea, right? I was like, I don't know why you're going to eat that green paint bucket, but whatever. That's what I thought. But it's really funny watching anime that's translated into English, especially like Pokemon or whatever, where they're like, hamburgers. But then they're showing like a sashimi roll or something.
Exactly. And see, but that's the thing though, like, and that's why I specifically didn't say like Japanese food. I was like food that's in anime. It's also true when it's like burgers and pizza. Like everything in anime looks like it tastes way better than it really does. So that's my favorite. I mean, the best theoretical food, anything in anime.
Yeah, I'm down with that. I haven't thought of a better answer off the top of my head, so I'm piggybacking on yours. Ali298 says, will Nintendo get involved in the Smash community to manage events to reduce likelihood of the horrible situations which have been exposed recently? Oh, we forgot to talk about this.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. Oof.
I'll let you field it.
I mean, TLDR, a bunch of people in the Smash Brothers community suck, dude.
Yeah.
Like, to put it lightly. And
what's the Evo specific thing that happened, by the way?
Well, Evo doesn't really have anything to do with Smash Brothers.
Oh, okay. They canceled
because Smash Brothers wasn't going to be at Evo. It was in conjunction with everybody coming out with their stories of like assault and harassment and like all that crappy stuff. Yep. Stuff was coming out about Mr. Wizard, who is like the former CEO of Evo, about like him having done some messed up stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
And because of that, a lot of like studios were like pulling out with their games, where it's like, we don't want to do this. And then Evo just canceled it because it was like, well, we can't do it now.
And they fired him, right?
Yeah. And then they replaced him with somebody else that works there too. I don't remember I don't know exactly what position. His name was like Mr. Cannon or some crap like that.
Nice.
So
yeah.
Will Nintendo get involved? Cannon or Tom Cannon? It's something like that.
I don't think
I was talking to Bob about this, where it's like, I think that if anything happened, either it'll be really bad for the Smash community or really good. And I don't know which one's more likely, because Nintendo has a precedent for both. Where it's like, they could retro studio up this whole thing, and it's like, man, you guys really made a mess out of this. Guess we got to take control and buy it out and make it good. You know, like, it could be that situation. Or it could just be like, nah, man, we got to cut this arm off. Right? Like, this is just bad in general, and it's not going to get any better. So we got to axe it. I hope that it's the former, because it would be really good if Nintendo is like, okay, as long as they don't freaking mess it up, as long as they're not like every tournament's like a super casual, like, items on high. Like, if they don't do that, I'm down with Nintendo being like, all right. And also, if they don't mess it up in the sense where it's like, instead of the crappy prizes that already are the thing for like professional esports tournaments and stuff like that, where like the top prize for the entire year is like $20,000 or whatever. When in a Fortnite tournament that's like 102nd place is $20,000. If Nintendo doesn't mess it up in those two ways, then I'm down for Nintendo taking over. I don't know for sure if they're going to do it though.
Yeah, I don't even know, but I don't know. Inflexen said, something like that. Asked Nintendo New York reopening ? Is that a question of whether it is or if or like what are your thoughts on the fact that it is? Like, 'cause I don't
think it should, not yet.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they do. Well, I don't even think Nintendo New York probably has like a web applet where it's like, are we open? You know, like something like that. But I don't think you can order from them in the same way. I think that they have like a Amazon page or something where you can get like the same like apparel from, or some of the apparel from Nintendo New York. But if they don't have like a website in the way that like bestbuy.com is a website where you can go on there and be like, I want this, and then they're like, okay, we'll tell people at the store to have it at the door, you know. Like, if you can't do like freaking door or like curbside pickup, then I doubt it. And also like Nintendo New York is freaking like in Manhattan, so like in the middle of the city, so like I don't know if that's the kind of place that you want to have curbside pickup for your business, you know? Like, at least in response to this.
Right.
So I don't think they should. Not yet.
Yeah. Agreed. Mega Man, next question asks, now that the Isle of Armor is done and dying out, what are your hopes and dreams for the Crown Tundra?
I don't know. Just more. Give me another excuse to play Pokemon. I don't really care about like, and if they're going to do story stuff, then like make it not
either do it or
like,
don't.
like make it feel like it's worth doing, you know? Because like, I don't know, like, even though like Pokemon, like it's always tutorially, it's always going to be that, because that's just what Pokemon is. Because like the people that want story in Pokemon are not going to want story in Pokemon in a way that it's not a tutorial, because they wouldn't be able to like consistently do it. Like,
Right.
because if they're like, all right, instead of gyms being like type themed, now gyms are going to have whatever, dude, whatever's the best Pokemon, and you're not going to know what that Pokemon is, and they're going to have random moves, and like it's going to be competitive move sets and stuff like that. Like, if they do that, nobody's beating Pokemon. It's not like that's a super casual. They're going to all quit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, if they're going to stick to that, at least don't like make it feel like you're onboarding me for like, this is Kubfu and this is Urshifu and this is his Gigantamax form. Like, if there's story content, do it like that. And if they don't, let me just completely ignore it and just do the max raid battle stuff.
I would say I would want that, because it seems like a lot of stuff in Crown Tundra is going to be like legendary Pokemon, mythical Pokemon based and stuff like that. And I would say that I'd like this, if any stories there, for it to be based around that rather than around just people that are, you know, interacting with people. But at the same time, I feel like even the way that they did that with like Zamazenta and Zacian and stuff like that was like, it was okay, but it wasn't, it still felt kind of cheesy or whatever. But it would be cool if it was more lore based story rather than, you know, like talking to people and people doing stuff type story.
Yeah.
So
like presenting the stuff that's going to be in the Pokedex anyway, but like in the actual story.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what I would want from it to be, because again, obviously Isle of Armor didn't bring me back into it. So I'm not sure for Crown Tundra what could or what would specifically, like based off of what we already have. I think it would have to be probably more of a step in a different direction to be able to do that. And
it
I don't
sounds
know
like
that'll fit in.
Just based off of like stuff that leaked that it's like structured in chapters where it is like that, where it's like, this is the chapter for freaking Galarian Articuno, you know, like that sort of thing. And if there's like enough to do that doesn't feel fetch questy, I'm down for that.
Yep. I think the thing that's like, so I watched a video on Pokemon stuff this week that's similar to like the one that you'd like to do, that's more of a like big picture, like
freaking project.
Yeah, right.
Take years
and one of the things that it pointed out that I was like, that is a really good point, is that in like Pokemon Sword and Shield, for example, there's not really any optional areas, in the sense that everywhere, all the like key points, besides in, I guess, you know, the wild area or something like that, but that probably doesn't really count. But like thinking of the power plant from Gen 1 or that kind of a thing, where it's like, here's this totally other area that you don't have any story reason to go to, but if you do a little bit of exploration, you'll find it. And then, you know, kind of Metroidvania it up a little bit. That is something that I'm like, it would be cool if that kind of stuff returned, where you weren't forced to see every spot in the world. So the thing that made me think of that was, you know, Articuno and whatnot being legendary birds, and that, you know, you find them accidentally. So like, if it's sectioned off in chapter things for the Crown Tundra, that's cool. But also then if it's like, now you get every single one in the same way that you're just like, here's Kubfu, Urshifu, Galarian Urshifu, or Gigantamax, you know, it's less exciting because it feels like you were forced to get it anyway.
Definitely going to do that. I think they're definitely going to do that. Unfortunately, regardless of what they do, I think it's going to be this required thing.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, Pokemon games are ultimately trying to onboard you. They're like, all right, we want you to have these legendaries. Here's some story crap, I guess. You know, like, get the legendary.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what it ends up being. And I'll pay more attention at that point, because that, you know, at that point I could get both in one fell swoop instead of having to wait.
And then I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like both of them will be enough if you like enjoyed your time playing through the campaign of Sword or Shield, whichever one. I don't remember which one you got.
I got
there it is. You got the right one. For once. No, I'm joking. Yeah, if you enjoyed your time with that, I feel like this is at least going to have as much like campaign content as that does, because there's not like a lot in that regard. But this will have like at least match that, I think.
Yep.
Because the first part was like 5 hours or something like that. Sounds like the second part's going to be like longer than that. So like 10, 15 probably.
Yep.
if they do break it up into chapters.
Yeah, we'll see. 2 questions left. One from Murr, who says, do you feel like directs are done and they're just going to announce everything on Twitter?
I don't think they're going to announce everything on Twitter. I also don't necessarily think directs are done, but I think they will announce more things on Twitter. I think freaking them announcing like Mario Maker 2's release date on Twitter was like the first, like that was the first sign of the apocalypse. Where it's like, all right, yeah, and the Directs, I don't know, man, I don't know.
Yeah. I think we're in the testing phase where we'll see maybe even more different things than just Twitter directs. Maybe there will be some other things that they do, but yeah, we'll just find out. But I don't think anything's done yet, personally. Last question, and this is a fun one. From Derp Marcos asks, if you couldn't pick Pikachu as the Pokemon mascot of the Pokemon of the company, which other Pokemon would you pick, excluding the first Gen 3 or first 3 Gen 1 starters and their evolutions? So the question here for me too is like,
they would have to be Gen 1 Pokemon, wouldn't they?
I mean, I guess just their mascot like here in 2020, like it's
like a new mascot.
Yeah.
So
the question is, do they go like they have to go recognizability, I would think, but
I mean, I guess what you would do is just pick Greninja, because Greninja won the like popularity contest that they did, I think last year. So probably Greninja.
The only thing with that is I don't know that would, because it's definitely, it won the popularity contest, but does that apply to 5-year-olds that are only, finding out about it for the first time? Like, is that the most approachable character for all generations?
I think Greninja is a Pokemon that 5-year-olds will love, at least 5-year-old boys.
Yeah, right, exactly. So that's
but 5-year-old girls, I don't know. I mean, 5-year-old girls probably like Greninja too, but it definitely, he doesn't have like that cute meets factor.
Yeah,
for sure. But
I mean, I don't want to say Eevee.
Pancham, dude. Pancham. He's cute meets cool.
Something about me wants to say, not for the look of it or anything, but just the theming, Rotom, because of the Rotom decks and stuff like that. But I also hate it. So
yeah, but Rotom's kind of dumb.
Yeah,
like
because it doesn't have it's not cute or cool.
Yeah, like the base Rotom, I think he's like, that design is like, I guess you can argue cute and cool, I guess, but freaking Rotom Wash, no, like he's neither. So like I think the forms kind of mess it up for him.
Yeah. One last one each. Togepi? Say Togepi. Togepi's not cool at all.
Togepi's not cool.
Scyther. It's Scyther. We got it. That's
yeah, but Scyther sucks. Like, we gotta have a Pokemon that is at least okay. Like, you got like Pikachu is like not the best, but Pikachu can be viable as like a swing, like Pachirisu kind of pick. But like freaking Scyther's garbage. Like, so like no. But we can't have him be the most popular Pokemon. It's not allowed.
All right, then who you get last pick?
No, I'm cheating. Mimikyu. That's the new mascot.
Perfect. Works for me. And that's it, y'all. We are done with the podcast for today. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you around next time. Do all the social media things that you want. Well, you probably do.
Subscribe, follow, support on Twitch and YouTube. Also, I forgot to mention Twitch Prime. If you got Twitch Prime, you can use that on us too. I haven't mentioned Twitch Prime in a long time, dude.
I'm sure mine has gone unused for several months now, just in general.
It's true. It's true. But hey, man, once Apple stops freaking stringing me along, dude, everybody will remember because I'll stream.
It's true.
There it is.
All right, y'all. That's it. See you.
Thanks for watching. Love you. Bye.